Yep. Welcome to the final for Virgo Cup VI, the Category C finals between Team Secretito in the even colors and Desastres C in the odd colors. Let's start introducing these players first, and then we can talk all about what this signifies, what civs they have gone for, etc, etc. In the blue, we have Alejo Kamet playing as the Portuguese. In the teal, the green, sorry, I'm a little colorblind, aren't I? We have Herno playing as the Huns. I like that. In the teal, we have Brancamet playing as the Spanish. Interesting pick. Then in the gray, we have Pablo, 87, picking, what are we picking here? We are picking Italians. Very nice. On the other side, we have the Zeus for Team Secretito playing as the Tatars. Ooh, that is an unexpected pick for me, but we'll see how that's going to work out. In the yellow, we have Brutal playing as the Berbers. In the purple, we have Negan playing as the Magyars. In the and then in the orange, last but not least, we have Tomichiwar playing as the Ethiopians. Very nice. So yeah, once we look at the civilization, I think in most cases there's not a whole lot of surprises. I think there's two surprises, though. One here for Desastres. It's Spanish, right? Like if you think about it, Spanish not the best pocket civ. They have decent cavalry. As I said, they get all the upgrades. It's basically generic heavy cavalry. They get paladin, they get all the upgrades on it, but it's not a single bonus they get that makes their cavalry stronger, that makes their economy stronger. They build buildings faster, I guess. That's pretty sweet. But yeah, like of course the most iconic unit with Spanish is the Conquistador, which I do not think we're going to get to see from a pocket player. So that's always why I'm always a bit curious, like what is the reasoning behind picking pocket here? Spanish, I mean. I'm sure that Franca Met here with Desastres has a strategy prepared for it, and we will be very curious to see what they will be going for. Now, another surprise here is Tatars, and the reason for that is that Tatars work best on a map with a lot of hills, which Patagonia has hills here and there, that's true. Hills you can control, but not a whole lot. And as you can see, actually there's not a single hill directly between gray and red here. Like, I mean, he can sit on this hill, I guess, if he's defending his own base, or if he launches an attack on gray's base from this hill, he can make use of that. But it's not like the Tatar bonus of doing more hill bonus damage to your opponent when you're uphill. It won't come into play as much as it might on other maps, which is why Tatars, I would prefer them on a map like Pampa, on a map like Uyuni, where you have clear hill advantages here and there. Also, because Tatars aren't the best eco civ, right? They have a very limited eco bonus. They get more food on their herdables. It lasts longer, basically, and you get two herdables if you build a town center. So you get 2 sheep for free. So it's a bit of extra food, but it's nothing. It's nothing like radical or anything like that. And Tatars just tend to fall behind more conventional flank civs like Britons, Mayans, Ethiopians, you know, civs like that. Which, by the way, Mayans, Britons, banned. The OBC knows this this series. I think Britons have been banned all but one of the semifinals and finals sets that I've casted. And when you give teams 5 bans, it's just unlikely they're not gonna try to get Britons, right? Not try to ban Britons. So yeah, that's what you get for being an overpowered archer civ, Britons. Yeah, it's you're so good that you're never gonna get played. It's like Vikings in Red Bull Wololo, also never got played. Now let's talk a little bit about resources here. In the front, we have a forward gold for blue, which is going to be awkward to take, especially if you wall towards it. So we'll see how that's going to turn out for him. Has some gold to fall back on in theory, like for example this gold in the back here. It's on a hill, so it's kind of awkward if you want to TC this later, if you want to wall around this, but I'll find a way. Has another gold 4, but that is very far away, so I don't think that's a gold you want to be taking there. As for Orange, Orange has a little gold forward as well. Not the gold he's going to go for. Instead, he's going to go for this back gold. As you can see, you know, nicely in the back. Should be fairly wallable, depending on how he's going to wall that. Also has a gold forward again, but that's not a gold you can take until you have control, have map control through military, and that's later in the game. As for red, has a side gold, really. It's kind of to the side, to the middle here. It's in the open, though. Like, there's a lot of open space over here. It's going to make it difficult to protect your gold without walling extensively around that. Unless you go for the crazy walls, but I don't think that red is going to be crazy like that. Has a back gold to fall back on, however, which is very nice. And then forward also has a gold, which he could take maybe later when he gains map control. As Teal finds a sheep, which Teal's like, oh, that's nice. I mean, I would definitely take away the sheep from the Tar player. Like, that is a lot of extra food that the Tar player gets from it. He gets, like, almost, what was it, like 130 food per sheep or something like that? Or is it 120, 110? I don't know the exact numbers. We'd have to ask for Spirit of the Law. He will probably know. Last over here, though, we have a forward gold for Gray. Not sure if he's going to take that. I don't think so. He's walling and behind that, so that's he doesn't feel safe about that. Instead, he is taking the gold to the side, which is not very much safer, but it's further to the back, so it takes a while before your opponent to get there as opposed to this gold. If he's going to wall, though, he will have to wall a lot to the side. And his other gold is outside of his walls on the left side, to the back of his base. Again, it's nice to have the option to expand to a different gold, in my opinion. As Orange loses his scout here now to Green. Green also wants to maybe harass this archer range, but yeah, I'll be fine with that. Orange has some idle villagers right there as well, so just fix that. So at least we have the archer range will go up now. Now, Blue has spent more time walling, so Blue is delayed a few lates, you can tell that. Especially as Orange wanted to go for men-at-arms, and Blue just barely walling out those men-at-arms, making sure they can't get in. And like I said, Blue has spent a lot of time walling. He's also walling around this back gold, so evidently did not want to risk going to this main gold. There's still a hole right there. There's still a hole right there. I hope Blue figures that out, because these men-at-arms could still try to get in, but actually they might actually get in on the front. Blue, wall behind! Oh, it's not going to be in time. Oh, but Green, though, distracting, just buying enough time here for Blue to get this archer range up. That's very nice. So now the hole is plugged, and Orange won't be able to run in and maybe harass the economy. Ironically, there's still a hole right there, but I think Blue just spotted that. Yeah, very nice. Blue spotting that. Very good. Is something happening on the other side? We should probably just check. Just keep an eye out. Not seeing a lot of action going on right here. I think it will just be a more quiet start for them. As Orange is, well, I mean, I guess he's trying to do some damage to the archer range, but that's, of course, not going to do much. As Blue will house wall behind this and just keep the pressure out as good as he can. But one annoying thing is that once these archer ranges are built, it's going to be really difficult to delete those palisade walls behind. You know, to make sure your archers can actually go outside of your base easily as well. And Orange, I mean, like, you might ask, well, that seems like kind of like a waste of resource as well, going for men-at-arms and then getting walled out like that. And yeah, kind of is. But Ethiopians get 100 food, 100 gold at the start of each age, which means that in few lates, as Green makes it to the gold tier for Orange, actually snipes a villager, and Purple was a bit too late to help there. It's now going to push away these scouts. But yeah, Green will be happy about that, picking off a vill here and there. But yeah, as I was saying, Ethiopians getting that extra resources at the start of each age basically means that your men-at-arms rush is free. Almost, right? Not entirely, but almost. Well, as red and yellow are pushing the way forward here, Teal is building a house up here? I think Teal was walling his own base and then decided to go for a team wall, but as a result, now suddenly there is a hole here which red and yellow can exploit, so I'm not sure about that one. As Blue still has his archers in his base, like I said, I mean the wall is still up here, so he always has to move, always has to spawn them in his base. Now the advantage of that is that your archer ranges can't be killed as easily, so there's at least there's that. But yeah, red and yellow though trying to get into Gray's base, sniping a villager here as well, sniping an archer, and now they're in. And Gray is trying to scramble out a defense here with his own archers. It's 4v4 archers, actually it's 5 archers for red, but now he lost one, so. And that is a wood line that is under pressure here. Red does have fletching on his archers, but only has 5. As Yellow's trying to get before the archers for Red in front of him. I mean, before Teal can get in with the scouts. Teal does get an archer and helps Gray kill another one, but Yellow's shielding that with his Berber scout. You will be okay with that one. Yeah, red and yellow have enough presence here in Gray's base that I'd say they're still very dangerous here, especially as Gray's gold is right there. And if they can hit Gray's gold, that would be a disaster. I'm not sure if they know that Gray's taking gold here, but honestly they should know because they have been to the front. They have seen that, so yeah. Oh, yellow! Yellow and red. Imagine if they saw that. They don't see it right now. Oh, red though. Red's gonna check it. He's gonna check it. Yes. Oh, this is really good from red. And oh, what a disaster for Gray in a second here. Didn't tower his gold, and now he has to run away. And yeah, you can try to fight that, but that's a lot of scouts here. Red does lose his archers. They were very weak as well. Yeah, but Gray still has to run away. He has to run quite a far away as well. So at least one villager could die here. Maybe a second. A second goes down as well. And Gray will have to defend himself with spearmen and more archers now. But he's off a gold for the time being. On the other side, Orange tried to wall to the left here, but the wall failed, evidently, and Green and Blue are streaming through some units here, and Orange does not quite have the military to defend himself here. So, that's a tricky situation to be in, of course. Well, Teal and Gray still defending, still trying to defend here, but yeah, Gray has taken some losses there, so it's not going to be smooth sailing for him from here on. Especially if red and yellow continue to send some military forward, which I think yellow has stopped making scouts because he wants to go to Castle Age now. As we have a bit of a fight going on in Orange's base now, as purple and orange are trying to commit to a fight here. Purple is trying to get in on the archers, but a lot of pathfinding issues for those scouts. Lots of purple scouts are kind of weak now. Green is taking out the scouts before they can get a significant group of archers from blue, and now orange, well, actually, it's not that bad, actually, for orange and blue. At least he sniped a bunch of archers for blue, so blue does not have a lot of archers here now. But green, of course, has the scouts. Scouts with upgrades as well. They lack bloodlines, but they have everything else. And they can kill villagers. They can fight against the archers, as now orange is on the back foot on this side. We have ourselves an even game here. We have ourselves a very even game, actually. Very nice. And, oh boy, a similar situation for orange now as for gray. 13 villagers have to leave the gold there. That's a lot of vills to have on gold, that's for sure. But yeah, that's one villager down. That's maybe a second villager down in a second here. Yeah, second villager down. Third villager down. Third villager down. Yep, very nice. As purple, who is on the way to Castle Age, is still making scouts. I like that. I like that he's at least continuing to make scouts here just to because there's not that much army here for green and blue, but enough army to harass orange for a long time. Especially since orange doesn't have any other gold options. Like, he has to get this up. Also, orange should right now plug holes. And there's another hole right there. I hope orange is going to figure that out now. Well, the team wall from teal has failed. And as a result, yellow and red trying to get into the back of gray's base. And the quick walls fail. Oof. Ay, as these scouts from yellow do make it in. They do not have a lot of upgrades, as in any, but they are still scouts nonetheless. They will have upgrades in a second, as yellow is getting those right now, and then the knights will start coming out. But gray has quite a number of archers here. Now red has to snipe the spearmen first. That's what he has to do. But as soon as the spearmen are gone, yellow can take the fight, and suddenly gray, not the best of fights, needs a bit of micro here as well. And even if gray kills the scouts now, gray is going to lose a lot of villagers on the gold. Ay. There should have been a tower right there. 4 villagers going down, and red is very happy to go away. Or no, okay, he's trying to get that last vill. Huh. He gets the vill, but I'm not sure if that was worth it, honestly. I think it's better to just trade versus these archers and just get, make sure that... because, honestly, red had enough archers that maybe he could have even won that fight. So I'm not sure if that was the right call there for red. But, in the end, has a firm lead, and as a result, I mean, the reason why red was so careless with his archers is very simple. It's because he's switching into cavalry archers. Now, cavalry archers work when you can mass them, right? Goes for every archer, but cavalry archers is more difficult because you can only start making them in Castle Age. Right, so you're already behind in numbers from the onset against your opponent. But with the amount of damage that gray is taking, gray is down to how many vills? 28. He's far behind red. Red is 12 villagers ahead of gray, so he can afford cavalry archers. And gray's still stuck in feudal age, so it's not like it's gonna get any better for gray in the meantime. He will have to defend himself against Berber Knights, a Knight spam, and a Tatar Cavalry Archer spam. Now, the thing with Cavalry Archers is, yes, they have one less range, but they have potentially way more HP, double the HP of crossbows, and they have more attack, which allows them to kill Knights quicker. So it's much more scary to fight against Cavalry Archers with Knights than it is with normal Archers, because normal Archers just have a lower base attack. As you can see, only 5 instead of 6. And worse still, you can't even run away from Cavalry Archers because they can chase you. To a degree, right? They can chase your cavalry, so that's the worst part. That's what's so frustrating. They can run away from you, but you can't really run away from them. I think Cavalry Archers are just a tad faster than Knights, so... I mean, the differences are like minuscule, but there is the difference. There definitely is a difference. Well, orange and purple, despite taking some damage, orange, I mean, he did take some damage there, has stabilized for now, has gotten the walls up, has plugged that hole as well, a hole that was hard to see. As blue wants to go out to this goal, he's trying to wall around it now, but purple and orange are here, and purple and orange are going to deny the wall up, and now there's a hole in your base as well. Blue will not be happy about that, especially as he has to bring back his army from the front now. He wanted to go for an attack, but that's not going to happen now, as purple has significantly more knights here than the hunt player, despite the hunt player being able to make him faster with the faster working stables. But blue has significantly more archers, so yeah, the Ethiopian player, you know, the archers are OP, but not that OP. On the other side, though, we have yellow and red breaking into Teal's base, who had not walled his base. Well, I guess he had walled the back now, but it's it ain't pretty. As Teal also lost some villagers on the gold and now is kind of stuck in his base. And also, only one place to take gold from now. If yellow and red deny that, then no knights for the Spanish player. At the same time, red and yellow also kind of harassing the front of gray's base, just to make sure that gray can't really get a nice position going. Green and blue, after having pushed away purple and orange, though, are now trying to make their way into orange's base now, which will prompt orange and purple to defend that for sure. Okay, orange is on his way. Purple, well, you have to be there when they get in, because they will run right for your gold there. See? That's exactly where they're going to go. As oh, blue going the wrong way. Okay, he fixed it. He fixed it. We're good. We're good. Looks like a lot of scouts and knights have gone down. Like I said, when you have knights, especially when you have the last armor upgrades, or at least there's that, but cavalry archers just kill your knights much faster. As we now have a fight between purple and orange, forcing, well, green and blue basically forcing that fight by breaking into orange's base, but purple has just way more knights than green, and this time around, orange is close enough to help, and now you've got +2 knights who are going to try to kill as many archers as they can. They might be cheaper Portuguese archers, but they are not better at fighting knights, and purple is trying to make some maneuvers here to get around these crossbows, get the surround, make sure they can't get uphill from the knights, and now blue is just stuck in no man's land, being attacked and harassed by archer volleys from the back while getting massacred, absolutely massacred by the knights. It's just a sad reality of the archer knight meta. It's once your teammates' knights go down, that's when it gets rough. At the same time, though, here red and yellow breaking into Teal's base, doing a lot of damage, and the Spanish player just seems at a loss to know how to deal with that. At this point, you kind of need Gray to show up with a giant army, but Gray is still stuck in feudalates. He's only halfway on the way now. He can't really join with archers. They don't do enough damage against knights. They do 1 damage versus knights. So Gray being out here when there's this many knights roaming around, that is risky. Very risky. At the same time, blue under pressure now from orange and purple. It's not looking too hot for Desastres on either side of the map right now. It's just not looking too hot. And they're trying as well. They're trying to defend, but now you're being pushed on both sides. And worse still, yellow and red, using their mobile army, it's a very mobile army, are just saying, okay, we'll just go attack everything now. And Gray's gonna get hit on his gold again. Oh, and Gray can't do anything about it. He can't fight it with his crossbows until he gets the upgrades. He just can't. At the same time, Green now has to scramble to defend himself in his own base. It's just disaster. It's literal disaster everywhere. As blue loses the last of his crossbows that he had, and orange and purple will be very happy with that, as red and yellow will make sure that green will not be able to send any reinforcements, and yellow is on the way to Imperial aid. Teal's trying to break into yellow's base, but yellow's like, nope. As even these knights should still be able to kill these crossbows, honestly. It's been the last 5 minutes has completely shifted the balance of power in favor for Desastres, for Team Secretito, I mean. Like before, it was it was kind of even on both sides, but green and blue losing that fight at the front on Orange's base. At the same time that teal and gray started losing control of their side, that was a disaster for Desastres. It was an actual disaster. Yeah. As red not microing this though. Hey, you gotta micro your cavalry archers because they're a very micro intensive unit, as you can see. Because once they sit still, knights easily kill these. They only have 1 melee armor, not even a base melee armor, so they die quite fast to knights. They take what, 10 damage from them, so 7 hits and those cavalry archers are dead. Yeah, so that was not the best fight for red. That might give green at least a little bit of time here to stabilize. It's just that that disaster has taken so much damage all around. I mean, look at this. Compare the vill count. Compare teal and purple, who are opposite. Purple has been booming on 3 TCs. He is at 86 villagers. Teal at 21 on 1 town center. And he is still getting harassed right now. I just don't see how this game goes in the favor of Desastres at this point. Like, the amount of damage that has been sustained by all 4 players in the team is just astronomical. I mean, the only one who kind of came away with it is green, and that might end just now as orange and purple make their way into green's base. And green yet again has to scramble to defend himself. Just dealt with the knights from yellow, and now suddenly, yeah. And we're still the purple players in imp, so it will be cavalier with full upgrades in a second here. Yeah, it's just... It's a disaster, that's what you want to call it. It's, this did not turn out... This swung really hard, really quickly, but I think at this point, I think it's time for Desastres to call it quits here, because Team Secretito, yeah, just getting an advantage like this on both sides, that is not a good side. Because now these armies are free to go wherever they please. The economy for Team Secretito is miles better than it is for Desastres. Even Orange, who got hit the hardest of Team Secretito, has more villagers than Green does right now. And that's only because Green is saving his villagers for now. But you can only fit so many in your town centers. Actually, 3 town centers, you can fit all the villagers in there. Yeah, and Purple is just perfectly happy to just take some fights against the town center. Everything is on fire. Now the soon-to-be Cavalier are making their way into Gray's base. And Gray, if he was hoping to defend himself, well, as soon as the +4 comes in, that is 6 Pierce armor. That's basically trying to fight against Huskarls, honestly. As the town center for Green goes down. Oh, God. Yeah. This is a classic 105 moment almost. You know, Desastres probably don't want to give up yet because, well, you don't want to just lose your first game. You want to try your absolute maximum, especially when you're in a finals, right? Especially when you made it all the way to a finals. You want to try every avenue possible, but there is no avenue possible here. The economies for Team Secretito are triple that of Desastres. There's just no way back. Absolutely no way back. You have double the team score at this point. So yeah, it's GG time. It's GG time. I mean, Orange, there's absolutely nothing they can do about this anymore. Like, at this point, because Desastres has double the economy of Desastres, they can basically fight on 2 sides at the same time. As NDN says, they were waiting for another player. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I didn't think, like, I've casted Desastres a bunch of times now. They're not like a team that would grief like that, right? Like, they wouldn't not resign for no reason. Like, I haven't seen them do that at any point, so that makes a lot of sense. If that's what they're waiting for, then that makes a lot of sense here. Waiting for another player, then that makes sense. Yeah, and in that case, if you're waiting for another player, yeah, play on as long as you can. It might even frustrate Team Secretito a little bit, and in that case, you know, that might be good for the next game then. Well, then let's see how long they can hold on when most of Team Secretito is going to hit Imp in a second here, especially if Orange and Purple click up in a sec as well. Which Purple can just sell his food and then he can go, but I think Blue wanted to run away with his villagers, so he deleted his barracks, but there was actually a hole right there, so he didn't have to. Yeah. So basically, they are technically doing what griefing players do, right? You hide your villagers, you try to stall it out as long as possible, right? Which is not really what you want to do. But I understand the practicality of it, right? Because if you don't have enough players to play, like the other team can force you to play the game with how many players are available. And if you're waiting for another player, well, you can only wait 10 minutes and then you have to go. Which is why we had some sets that were played where one team had only 3 players instead of 4. Of course, I'm talking about the set between Klein Argentine and Mushu, as apparently the players arrived, so the GG is called. Klein Argentine, Mushu, what was it? Klein Argentine Z and Plateau Platinum. The first game was played with 3 players, so it has happened before. It's not a situation you want to be in. But yeah, GG is called. Of course, it has been GG for quite a while now, but very nice. Very nice. A very strong start to the game, but of course the wheel of the wheel of fortune, the pendulum of war swung heavily in the favor of Team Secretito after winning the fights. Well, getting that much damage in on Gray's base on the right here, and on the left, winning that fight over here, that was critical because that eliminated Blue and Green's army. And especially Blue, losing all his crossbows on the way back to his base. That was an absolute disaster. Yeah, let's just speed this up a little bit. Blue is saying GG. Lots of good games then. It was a very good game then. Alrighty, well. GG. Alrighty, but it was a strong performance by both teams with very nice advantage that Team Secretito get, and yeah, they immediately took it. Like for one, the Tatar player going for Cavalry Archers. If you have an advantage in early castle age, go for Cavalry Archers. They are the better unit, in theory, right? They are the better unit. They are mobile, they have a higher attack, so they can kill knights more easily. And you know, when it comes to a pitched battle, at some point having extra range doesn't really matter anymore. Like having extra range really matters when you're kiting, when you are trying to move away, and when you're trying to stay out of the clear. But in a pitched battle like that, you know, Cavalry Archers can get just as close to the knights as the crossbows can. And it is very easy for Cavalry Archers to immediately bridge that one tile range gap between crossbows and themselves. So, yeah. And of course, double the HP, so if not more. 80 HP, crazy. Have a look at the KD here. Yeah, great KD. I mean, that's the one downside that they went on for so long. Now the KDs don't really mean anything anymore because a lot of kills happened in the last 5 minutes here when they just started massacring everything, right? So it's not really that meaningful, all that meaningful anymore. So I can't really tell you anything about the KD really, but what I can tell you about is just the army counts. Look, maybe just the timeline to actually do more instructive here, because this is about the time when they were going to resign. This is how long they played on, but like even over here, see the advantage for Team Secretito was there, in that they all 4 had armies, something that yeah. After losing your crossbows right there, this was the big moment. That was the big moment because red and yellow switched their attention to green and blue after that. And that was a GG moment. And then it just stalled it out for 10 minutes. That's, yeah, what about the booms? Yeah. Yeah, and that too. That actually was already the case throughout most of this game. I mean, green actually got the 71 villagers high. Oh my god, imagine that. 71 villagers and he was down to 40 at one point. That's... yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Alrighty. Well, let's update the scoreboard. That should be the second score. Very nice. And, well, let's get into the second game, which will be on the first home map, which will be... alright, will be Kanagawa, home map for Desastres. So let's go. Now let's see if Desastres can turn it around in this, the second game of the Category C Finals. And let's introduce the players first. We'll start with the players of the team whose home map this is. In the blue, we have Aleko Kamet playing as the Byzantines. In the green, we have War Machine playing as the Persians. In the teal, we have Herno playing as the Lithuanians. In the gray, we have Fran Kamet playing as the Koreans. I like that. In the red, on the other side, we have the Zeus playing as the Saracens. In the yellow, we have Negan playing as the Sicilians. In the purple, we have Legionario playing as the Lithuanians. I like that as well. You know, both sides here going for Lithuanians. No surprises there. And then in the orange, we have Brutal playing as the Aztecs. Something that I expected also, considering what type of map this is. And let's talk about this map, because this is Kanagawa. In short, it's all about the gold in the middle. It's about these two golden pits that are between the two flank players on either side. You know, so that is what the late game is definitely going to be about, if we get there, that is. But, you know, well, yeah, I mean, if we do get to the late game, obviously it's going to be about gold, because in a gold rush type game, your gold at your main base runs out quite quickly. Now, one thing you might notice about those main bases is the fact that there is not a lot of gray on the map here. There's something missing. Well, that would be the stone. Wait, did I say there's not a lot of gray on the map and I'm looking at Gray's base? Okay, hang on, let me do that again. There's not a lot of gray on the map. Nah, just kidding. I'm talking about stone, of course, and the stone is all in the middle of the map, as you can see. But if you want stone, you have to take a risk and send your villagers all the way out into the open, into the middle of the map, where they can easily be raided, so it is a risk. And that's what I like so much about this map. It is gold rush, but if you want to lock down the gold with, say, castles, you have to pay. You have to take risks, huge risks, in order to get a benefit. Instead of just mining stone at your own base, and the biggest risk that you're taking is just getting the castle up, right? Like, the amount of investment you have to do now to get a castle up is much larger than it is in a normal game, which is good, because the amount of return you get for a castle is so high, right? A castle in Castle Age basically just controls this gold, period. Like, there's not much that you can do about it in Castle Age. You want to try ramming this down with all these gold spots and these choke points created, it's not gonna work. So yeah, I like that. In order, you know, if you want to get a castle up, you have to pay for that. All the relics are here as well. That is always the case. Always 7 relics to be taken, which means that if you have 2 Lithuanian players, they are probably going to vie for that. And purple and teal, being Lithuanian players, are definitely going to try to struggle for the middle here. I like the fact that it's 7 relics, which means that if you get 4, then the other player cannot get more. You know, they can't get the full amount of relics that they want, which is kind of a little bit of an advantage you can get that way. So very nice. Now, that would be about it for Kanagawa, right? I mean, I have explained that map more than any other map in this tournament, just because people love picking this map. I think it is the most a map that is most comprehensive to most teams, right? It is something that everyone will understand, right? Because everyone has played Gold Rush, everyone has played Golden Pit. It's not beyond that. There's not a lot of gimmicks. The fact that stone is in the middle makes castle control really difficult, which actually helps a lot of teams, because it's easier to fight over the middle now in Castle Age. It opens up a lot of aggression, something which normal Gold Rush doesn't always do, because players just get a castle up and that basically stalls out your aggression. So, yeah, I like this a lot. Chapeau to whoever made this map, by the way. And chapeau to the person who made all the maps, actually, because all the maps have been fantastic. Like, the one thing that makes this tournament so much fun for me to cast, and I imagine to watch as well, is because you're not just watching the same old maps we always see for every tournament. It's special maps, right? It's special maps you never get to see. You never get to see people play on these maps, and now we have the privilege of seeing a map like Iceberg, a map like Glacier, you know, fun things like that. And I really enjoy that, and I'm sure that most people do as well. Now, last, I might want to talk a little bit about civilizations here, because for Kanagawa, because the flanks are further apart, you have to cross this entire Sea of Gold first. You can go for some civilizations that need some time. I'm thinking Chinese, I'm thinking Koreans, Byzantines, I guess, you know. I don't think Byzantines really need extra time. They're quite solid already. They don't have a very good I don't think they have a very good eco bonus, but they do get up to Imperial Age faster than any other civ, because it's very cheap for them, which might help if you have an advantage in Castle Age. And to quickly go to Arbalest and with Bracer, that could be a game-winning move. So, yeah. As for Aztecs, who's Aztecs again? Oh yeah, that's orange. So, for Aztecs, I like the fact that you can always switch into Eagles if you really want to, if you feel that is possible. If you can go for Eagles, Eagles will absolutely wreck whatever you know, whatever the archer player might make. But then again, if you go for eagles, the Byzantine player might go for cataphracts. And if they go for cataphracts, well, let's just say eagles are not going to have a good time. Aren't going to have a good time. Trust me on that. Believe me. Oh, but that is... Ooh, this is actually something we should talk about over here for red. Like, normally I don't really care a lot about the resources that you have on this map, but for in this case, and the way that red has walled this, both of his golds are here. If he gets pushed off of this gold right now, and Gray might actually see this now, he might actually scout both golds being here, you know that red only has 2 gold piles. If he gets pushed off of either of these, he will get pushed off of both of them, because they're so close together. And that means no archers, because the closest gold buy that you can safely take at that point is gold in yellow's base. Which I'm sure yellow will be very happy about if that happens, but... and teal also seeing this as well. And they should immediately tell each other, like, yo, wait a minute. Look at the gold spot. You only have to put some archers right here, and immediately that gold is denied. And teal's even stopping the walls from happening as well, just being extra annoying here. So if I were Gray right now, like, I know that people tend to be a bit more passive on this map, you know, keep your archers at home and attack through feudal age, maybe close to the castle age. In this case, send those archers forward. Send them forward. Try to get into the wall here. You might even tower this. That's how bad this gold is for red. It's really bad. And teal saw that. He saw that. I know that they want to go for that. And that is exactly what Desastres needs if they want to get back into this series. Trying to get a nice position in on red might be their way to victory here. On the other side, though, orange has his gold safely in the back, so it's not like orange can be denied like that, nor can blue. You know, for the rest, everyone else has decent golds, but red's golds are horrible, and he will know that. Now, in red's case, you are Saracens, which means you can always drop a market and balance out your economy that way. Like, you can always do that, but there is a limit to that even with Saracens, so it's not like it's ideal. Now, we're just going to wait for Gray to start producing some archers and hopefully start sending them forward. Korean archers, of course, get the armor upgrade for free, which helps you, guess, a little bit. Maybe it helps you survive a hit from a scout a bit more than normal. Doesn't really help you in archer fights, I think. I don't think so. Just waiting for some pressure, for some aggression to happen now. Also curious to see what the wall plan is here, because it looks like purple at least is planning to go for a team wall. You see that? Because he's not walling the back of his base. I think he wants orange to wall this, so orange is just going to wall that. And I'm getting the idea that yellow might want the same thing to be done by red. But yeah, red hasn't done that. So there's still some holes in Team Secretito's base here. Something that is not so much the case for Desastres. They have team walled quite a bit of their map already. It's only between green and teal that there's still a hole. Although green is actually walling himself, so... Hey, even if the team wall fails, at least you can still... Even if the team wall fails, you can still defend yourself if you're green. So there's that. And I am all for that, by the way. If you make a team wall, there's no reason to not make different compartments as well. You know, just for some extra walling. I mean, I wouldn't do that immediately in Feudal Age because that's too expensive to go for both type of walls at the same time. But yeah, it does keep you safe if the team walls fail. So, you know. Well, unfortunately, Gray is not gone for it with archers yet. This is giving red a lot of time to mass archers, by the way. Like, imagine that. If red gets pushed off of his gold, he cannot make archers, period. That's why I'm saying it's so critical to be aggressive here. I think aggression would definitely help Desastres a lot here. They might not want to take the risk, though, which I understand, but... Yeah, well, blue and green, the first to really move out with a combined army there. Oh, actually, second, because orange and purple are right here. As green now spotting this force, he now knows that that's where they are. Wanted to take a fight against orange, but purple is here as well. What I do like here is that green, I think, has armor on his scouts. And remember, oh, no, wait, Persian, it's only for Persian knights that they get an attack bonus versus foot archers, so that's not the case. Red and yellow defending, and they know they have to defend this spot, because if red loses the gold access, I'm just saying, that would be very bad. We're just waiting for Gray and Teal now to capitalize on that. Teal and Gray have more military in the field as well. This might be the moment that we've been waiting for. That bit of extra military might just be enough to get a giant clear up over here. And if Gray can get his archers next to the gold, that'd be really nice. Although they might be more interested in trying to get through this wall, which I would disagree with. I think the gold needs to be the objective here. As we have two armies on both sides looking to take a fight here. Teal's trying to get in on the archers from red, but decides to shield Gray instead, which is well, his most important job, because it's more important that Gray survives with his archers than Teal getting Red's archers, honestly, because Gray can still do that. He has more archers on the field, as Yellow is losing a lot of archers as well. Teal hasn't gotten any upgrades on his scout, nor did Yellow, so it's very even in that regard, but not anymore. 6 scouts now, well, 5 scouts for Teal. Most of them are weak, but nevertheless, it's just looking a bit rough now. Gray can push his way to the gold, and that's exactly what they needed to do here. On the other side, though, we have a fight now between green, purple, orange, and blue. As purple is trying to get in on the archers for blue, snipes a lot of them as well, and orange still has a lot of his archers alive. Green has lost most of his scouts, and it looks like it's going to be a clear up for orange in the end, as we have a drop. Yes, and this is the moment where I have some sad news, unfortunately. Is that... Oh, that name changed. Wait, what? Gilbert Buatere? What? Huh, that's kind of weird. Okay, so what happened here is that Yellow dropped. They wanted to go for a restore and try to reconnect with Yellow, but the thing is, his internet apparently went out. They couldn't contact his teammate. They couldn't get him to go back. So Team Secretito called this game in favor for Desastres, which, yeah, it's a win for Desastres. Of course, it kind of feels screwy, right, when you get a win like that, but there's no other way around it. So this is a win for Desastres. Even if it's not deserved in the way that they would have wanted it, right? Like, it's not like they had an advantage here. I think Gray could have probably done a lot of damage to Red here, especially because Red can't make archers now. I think this would have definitely been a bad situation for Red, right? The way that he walled it, the fact he didn't tower it, that was going to be a problem. And I think Gray, if he had sent his reinforcements in, yeah, this would have been a very difficult situation for, wait, Saladin? But those are AI names. That's... Oh, right. Oh, no, I know. Remember. I know what happened. It's a thing where in team games, I think if someone drops and you keep playing, I think that... Doesn't the computer replace the player that drops? I think that's what happened here. So then Gilbert Buatere is a Sicilian person, whatever. I'm not really sure who that is. So, okay, that makes sense. So Negan dropped and he was replaced by an AI then. Is that what happened? Or something. In any case, I think Desastres would have been able to get a real advantage here. On the other side, not so much. It was more even on this side, especially since blue and green did lose that fight in the end. But, yeah, they're not dead on that side. So, GG, nevertheless. It was a pretty brief game. But, yeah. So, unfortunately, of course, I knew that this was going to happen. Like, unfortunately, that's something that I can't avoid knowing, because that's organizational things and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But yeah, GG nevertheless. I don't think we want to be looking too much at this, because it's for a game that was less than 20 minutes, and then someone drops, and basically that's the end of the game. That's not really interesting to look at the statistics. So, we will now go to the first home map for Desastres, which will be Ciudad Fantasma, and that should... did I say Desastres? I mean Team Secretito. And that should worry Desastres, because Team Secretito did prove to be very strong on the meta maps. I'm talking about maps that are like Arabia, like Patagonia, which Ciudad Fantasma is very much like that. It plays out in a similar way, in my opinion, at least. I mean, people might be disagreeing with that one, but we'll see how this one is going to go. It's 1-1 now, so anything can happen in this set. So here we go, Ciudad Fantasma coming up. Alrighty. Well, welcome to the Ghost City, or Ciudad Fantasma in Spanish, I think. I mean, I've been saying that is the translation. I'm just going to assume that is correct, honestly. Like, I'm just going by Google Translate, really. Let's introduce the players of the team whose home map this is. In the red, we have... Bohemians for the Zeus. In the yellow, we have Brutal now playing as the Malians. And that is a correct translation. Awesome. Thanks, MDM. Appreciate it. That would have been awkward if I've been misnaming that the entire time. In the purple, we have Legionario playing as the Teutons. And in the orange, we have Tomichi War playing as the Bohemians. I like that. I don't know why, but Bohemians are picked a lot on this map. It's kind of funny. In the blue, we have Aleko Kamet playing as the Vikings. In the green, we have War Machine now coming here for Desastres, playing as the Teutons. In the teal, they have Herno playing as the Sicilians. And last but not least, we have Veran Kamet playing as the Saracens. All right, very nice. Well, I must say, overall, not seeing anything that stands out to me as a weird Civ choice here, at least. Now, we have Byzantines again picked as the flank here instead of, say, as the flank on a map like Pampa where you can fight over water. So that's not an option for either player now. It probably will be a Japanese war then at that rate. And that is totally fine, by the way. That is totally fine. Like I said, Byzantines have that early imp potential, so that might be really good. So we'll see how that's going to turn out for them. They are up against Vikings, though, and Vikings might just counteract that early imp by getting an early imp themselves, because Viking economy is one of the best in the game. Just for the sheer reason you get wheelbarrow for free, you get handcart for free, which saves you 5 villagers. You basically get a free 5 villager lead over your opponent, and of course you save the resources, plus the fact that in the time that your opponents do not have those upgrades, you have the best, most efficient economy of them all. So that's why I say Vikings, as long as they breathe, they are getting a lead over you. Now, for Teutons are very, are a very tanky cavalry civ, but honestly, all I could say about Teutons is going to be negated by the fact that purple has Teutons as well. So it's just going to be a Teutons war on this side. It's going to be a clash of slow, heavy cavalry on either side. Neither player is going to get a real advantage over this, as blue is just passing, stealing his, wants to steal his geese right back, and orange could actually lame these if he wanted to, but yeah, okay, it was just a little bit of laming here and there, but it's totally fine. Now on the other side, Sicilians. What I like about Sicilians is the fact that they take less bonus damage on their units. That's the thing that we all know about Sicilians. That's really their gimmick, which makes their cavalier very scary because they're not countered by a lot of units. You can't just go camels against them, and you definitely can't go archers against them once they have Hauberk. 8 pierce armor, anyone? Oh yeah. Those are tanky cavalier, I can tell you that. As for Saracens, I love Saracens nowadays. Market potential, the fact that you can just shred buildings with your archers, and so can the rest of your team. Very nice. And here for red, Bohemians. Now, what about Bohemians? What I like about is the potential to kill, knights faster in Castle Age. Once you get chemistry in Castle Age, which normally you only can get in Imperial Age, but Bohemians, being the smart chemists that they are, get it an age earlier. And well, it gives your crossbows 1 extra attack, which allows you to kill knights in 30 shots instead of 40, which makes a big difference. I mean, because you're likely to have 30 crossbows in Castle Age, not 40. That's a lot of crossbows to have, so that's why. Also, when you're like fighting against your opponent, right, and you're microing back and forth with your crossbows, you might lose a few to knights. It takes longer for the Bohemian player to lose that critical mass to one-shot knights than it is for normal players. That's why I think it could work out in a team game where you are likely to encounter knights, and it's all about making sure that your opponent's knights die faster than your teammates' knights. Now, and last here about Malians. I mean, Malians are a very flexible civ. They're a little bit less flexible now because they lost that gold mining bonus, but that's not a problem here because, well, you know what you're going to be doing anyways. You're going to go for cavalry. Now, they really get strong when you hit imp. And I love for Rimback camels especially because it gives camels a higher base attack, basically. Well, I mean, not a base attack, that stays the same, but it gives you extra attack, which makes up for the lower base attack, I mean, that camels have. Like, that's their natural problem. They can't really break into buildings, they can't kill units as easily, they can't, beyond cavalry, I mean. So it really helps, and it might also help against the Sicilian player, because Farimba is not bonus damage, so it doesn't get halved by the Sicilian bonus. And of course, Cavalier with 7 extra attack is also pretty sweet. So, you know. Very nice. Now, we should talk a little bit about Ciudad Fantasma before people go up to the feudal age. Well, actually, purple is already there. Crazy bastard. Pretty fast build order for him then. And actually closely followed by teal. Must be... Oh, but that's Sicilians. Never mind. In any case, Ciudad Fantasma is all about, you know... it's very much like Patagonia, except that Patagonia doesn't have a giant, flat, square city in the middle, which is a ruined city. There is some ghosts roaming through here and there. Those are the... Most of the white spots are barricades, or they are... Let me find a ghost. They're a bit shy today. Where are they? Oh, there we have him. There we have him. This one isn't shy. That would be the militia that roam these ruins. I mean, again, they don't do anything to your units, really. They're just a nuisance, more so. I've never really seen them have an impact on this game whatsoever, so... It's just a little detail. There is some extra gold to be found in this ghost city, and I guess also some berries if you want to take them. I guess if you're Franks, you might go for it, but otherwise I wouldn't say it's really worth it. It just looks nice, more so than anything. And last, in the corner, we have a wood line, which yellow is already cutting through. And the reason for that is that he wants to get to the relics on the other side. And the Feitoria that is in the corner. 1 Feitoria and 2 relics per corner, which is a nice boon to your economy if you can actually get them. And they do attack you. Yeah, I did think that the militia would attack you. It's just they have like 3 attack and 25 HP, so it's not like they would... I find it unlikely that they would kill you, right? Unless you like have a villager that doesn't like no HP that is trying to go through the middle, they might actually kill a vill. But I have yet to see that. That would be hard to spot for me actually. That's what I would need a co-caster for, honestly, right? But yeah, we're just seeing some team wall shenanigans coming up from Team Secretito. That's probably the plan that they had going for. Maybe purple and yellow might go for some individual walls themselves, or they might wall this. Honestly, walling this is less than walling both of these spots and creating a corridor through which your enemy can still attack. So I would always favor team walls. Unfortunately for orange, too far away from purple, so they're not team walling there. As looks like the barricade was already destroyed over there. Oh well. Now, we're just, like I said, it's like Patagonia in that most of the fights will take place between the flanks, and it will just be a meta war, of course, between cavalry and archers. You know, it is very predictable. Some people might call it boring, and, you know, it might get old here and there, which is exactly why we have a lot of maps where that is not the meta whatsoever. So we have some stuff to shake it up. But nevertheless, I think it is one of the purest form of showing, you know, team skill, because it requires you to really cooperate between the two teammates, right? Keep your cavalry and your archers together. And also there's a good reason why it's always archers cavalry. It's because they cover each other's weaknesses. Something that double cavalry or double archer just doesn't do. And honestly, I think double cavalry is better than double archer because of the mobility, but you get countered hard by spearmen. Like if your opponent ever goes for a double combo, say you know, knight and knight, there is nothing stopping you from just spamming pikemen. Absolutely nothing stopping you. And Steel found his way into red space somehow. I'm not exactly sure how that happened. Oh, there was a hole. Ah, okay. There was a hole right there. That's how Teal got in. But then he kindly let Red know, like, hey, dude, you have a hole. You have a hole in your wall. Did you know that? You have a hole. And Red said, okay, thanks. Now get out. Yeah, so Teal will have to run away from this now. Wasn't able to do any damage inside red space, and that hole is plugged now. Red probably thanking Teal for alerting them for that. On the other side, we have, oh, Blue wanted to go out with his archers and then immediately spots those scouts and is like, nope, 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 nope. Runs into a corner so he can basically sit in a little choke point. Makes it easier to defend himself. Well, Green is here with his scouts now to shield Blue from what is happening, so at least there's that. That's good. Yeah, we have, like I said, a little bit of a meta war over here. More archers though for orange, so this is not a fight that blue and green should just take without reservation. As purple tries to get in on the archers for blue, gets one of them, but not a whole lot more, because blue has been microing back and forth pretty well. Now the risk of doing that is that you lose a lot of scout HP while doing it, because your opponent's scouts will be attacking your scouts. And now, as a result, blue might have fewer archers, but green still has scouts, and now it is orange who has to micro away from this, while also getting shot upon by the archers from blue. So in the end, it will even out, I'd say, and both players will end up with similar numbers of archers. Yeah, that was pretty okay. On the other side, looked like we had a little engagement between the scouts from yellow and teal as well. I don't think red's archers got quite that far yet, but yeah, they both are withdrawing to the walls now, just to make sure that you don't lose your mass, because, well, you don't want to lose your mass. Orange still microing very well, set in a little choke point as well, yeah, so green and purple both losing most of their scouts, and I think blue and orange, they will be loath to go near each other and take a risk with the archers until they have some reinforcements in. On the other side, though, gray and teal are trying to take a fight against yellow here. The start of the fight seemed to have been better for red and yellow now, but we'll see how it goes as the fight continues. Teal has more scouts than yellow, though, but gray has way more archers than red, and that is the deciding factor. So red and yellow a little bit on the back foot. I don't think they can take a fight here that easily. That's going to be very difficult. It might be gray and teal kind of going for some revenge here from the first game. Yeah, red is trying to microwave, sniping some reinforcements. That's really nice. Only losing one archer himself, so it's 3-4 archers. Very good micro from red. Very good micro from red. I think teal should join as well with some scouts to harass. As gray trying to save that reinforcement, but nope, that arrow is gonna hit him. Because these archers appear to have ballistics, honestly. As red is now scrambling to keep this army out, but still has an army to defend himself. Teal's here. Good dodge some shots with his scouts. Not all archers are firing on red. Red is microing here and there. Is losing a bunch himself, but not a whole lot. On the other side, we kind of missed this fight over here. Looked like orange and purple again losing a fight, but this time more decisively so. And now blue is here with archers. Archers that can easily kill buildings, by the way. If he wanted to, he could just take down these archery ranges. Just as orange is going up to the castlate and he's making trash. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy, you know what I think about that one. I'm not going to reiterate my opinions about Byzantines. I'm just hoping that orange is going to switch into archers at some point again. In any case, looks like most players are going up to the castlate, except gray, but he will click up in a second as well, I assume. Yeah, there he should go. He can sell some wood, actually. Huh. I can't believe that he is a Saracen player, but hasn't built a market yet. Oh, there it is. I was about to say, I thought every Saracen player is just... It's just like, who needs an archery range where you can have a market, right? As blue has made its way into orange's base. Wasn't too hard, because you get that Saracen bonus as well if you're a teammate of a Saracen player. Yeah, and skirmishers, that's nice and all, but these skirmishers die hard to cavalry. Pierce armor is not going to save them from being attacked by knights. Knights that will come out sooner rather than later. As, ooh, green had a hole in his base, which orange actually found, so let's hope that that doesn't become a problem later on. As blue is pushing orange off of gold as well, which is good. Snipes a villager in there, is continuously walking through orange's base as orange loses a skirmisher to the lone scout from green, which did not have bloodlines. That could have helped, actually. As I blue going for the villagers here, realizing that I can get a lot of kills here. Gets two, gets a third one probably. Should get a third one, yep, a third one. Still not losing too many archers here. And yeah, orange is just losing villagers by the dozens here. Or half dozens. That's 6 villagers down already. And blue is... He's gonna go for Vils now. He doesn't want to... He could actually try to out-micro these skirmishers. If he gets close enough, maybe. But I know the skirmishers with the armor should be good enough to clear this up. Yeah, blue is still microing this, but I think 2 skirmishers should be still good enough. Blue, what he wanted to do, he wanted to kill the skirms, and then he could freely kill the villagers. That was his plan, but that didn't quite go to plan, so... Oh well. Nevertheless, though, the advantage that that blue and green have over orange now, very nice. Because orange is stuck with elite skirmishers instead of crossbows, and elite skirmishers just die hopelessly to knights, as you can see. Yeah, the knights just easily killing these skirmishers before purple can send in the reinforcements. And at what cost of HP? Nothing. On the other side, red and yellow trying to find a way into gray's base, but gray has walled this up adequately with buildings, so that's going to take a while to break through. At the same time, they have an army sitting at the same choke point that they fought last time. So, yeah, red and yellow, though looking for a way in, I don't think they're going to be able to find a way in. And are now close to a larger army for gray and teal, so... Honestly, this game is the exact opposite of... Well, it's not the exact opposite just yet. if Desastres wins this game, then it is the exact opposite. But for now, you know, though the early game for the first game it went back and forth, right, on both sides. But this time around, Desastres seemed to have a slight lead on the left and a definitive lead, well, not definitive, but a pretty significant lead, I mean, on the right. As long as Orange is forced to go for skirmishes here, as he is making crossbows again, I'm glad to see that. That's good. The skirmishes is more like a stopgap measure, right? It's just to deal with the crossbows in your base, and after that you make your own crossbows again. So I'm glad that Orange doesn't stick with crossbows. And how you doing, Lakoni, man? How you doing? Are you nervous yet for your finals? If that's still happening, because I heard there were some scheduling issues. So if you have some updates on that, I'd love to know that. Love to know that. Yeah, it's Gray and Teal. Don't want to take too much of a risk here, because Yellow does have a lot of knights. More so than the Sicilian player. So, yeah, I don't think... you don't want to lose all the crossbows that Gray worked so hard to build. Also, I wonder, do these crossbows have chemistry? They do not. Is he thinking about it? He is thinking about it. Do you see that? A university built already, as well as a monastery. Remember that these are only 75 wood for Bohemians, so there's a good reason to build those earlier. It's not happening today. Oh, it's not happening today. Oh, that's a shame. Well, thanks for letting me know, though, because otherwise it would have been awkward for me after all. That's a bummer, though. We'll see when we'll cast it then. It happens. It happens. It happens. It's a little bit. Of course, now I'm a little bit disappointed, huh? Because I was looking forward to that, of course. But hey. I'm not. Don't take it personal or anything. I'm not blaming you or anything. I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna blame the team captains, right? It's their responsibility. Anyways, green and purple. You have similar knight numbers, but blue has a lot of crossbows here, and orange is forced to chase this as well. So. It's actually pretty smart here from green and blue to separate these two armies, because orange and purple want to fight together, especially orange, whose army is made up of a lot of skirmishes as well. On the other side, we have a little bit of an engagement between yellow and blue, but the actual engagement is happening right here, as purple is really attacking the knights for green, and green is trying to kill as many of these crossbows as he can, as many of orange's units. But as a result of that, purple is now allowed to get in on blue's units, and blue is going to lose all these crossbows, and in the end green will have to run away, because purple is left with more knights here. These are tanky tootin' knights. Neither side has an advantage here. Oh, but green, though, has more knights in the bottom now, and purple is taking a bad fight there. Yeah, those knights are dying faster than they should have. Aye. Yeah, it's too bad for blue losing an advantage, but that's good for green and purple. You know, it gives them a little bit of breathing room, right? A little bit of breathing room to kind of sort out their things, get their mass going again, and then they will be happy with that. As purple and green are basically just trading equally at this point. Now, yellow has made a ton of knights here. And remember, these are also Bohemian knight crossbows. And look at them. They have the chemistry upgrade. And as a result, these 30 crossbows can now one-shot knights instead of needing 40. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice right there. As we have Imperial Age now from the Sicilian player. So the Sicilian player going up with, how many villas does he have? 86. That's a pretty good villa number. Actually, like, if you look at the vill counts from Team Secretito, not a whole lot of villagers, especially for the pockets. Look at that. Yellow and purple both only below 70, which, I mean, the pockets from Disaster do make it above 70, so a bit more booming for them. That is a result of that slight advantage that the Disasters had. So they felt that they could add more town centers and just go for a boom. That switch, you know, it's always a critical moment early cast slates when you want to produce knights, but also out of 3 town centers villagers. It's so expensive, very difficult to do. Which is why you don't want to just start booming if you don't have control. Which is why Desastres did that, but as a result they have an eco elite now. But Team Secretito, making enough military here, it has at least fought back the military advances of the Desastres. And as a result, we now have more military for Team Secretito, but more economy for Desastres. Especially Teal. And remember, Teal's up to Imp. But so is Yellow, so is Red, and now Blue is on the way to Imp as well. I mean, it was to be expected that blue was going to get up the imp very fast with the Viking economy. Like, even though you don't have a lot of eco, that doesn't matter. You don't need that many farms to get the imp here in a good time. Something that orange will probably be able to do as well, because it's cheaper for him to go to imp. But the thing is, he doesn't have quite the amount of food he needed. Was making a lot of skirmishes for a while as well. That doesn't help. So, yeah. Well, we're just waiting for players to get up the amp. I think most sides here want to be safe. As we had a relic collected. Who's collecting relics here? Ah, Yellow. Yellow, the first to get to through the wood line here. Has, well, basically 20 extra population now because of this Victoria. Gets him a nice little trickle of resources. It's not like really OP or anything. Not that much resources you get from a Victoria. But hey, any bit helps. And the longer this game goes, the nicer it is to have Victorias. Although your opponents, of course, have Victorias as well. So it balances out here and there. But losing 20 population might be a problem, which is always why you need to plan that out accordingly, right? You need to really plan out, when am I going to get this Victoria? Because the moment that you do, you lose 20 population space, and you do not want to be in a giant fight where you have to send in reinforcements and things like that. As one player found out the hard way. Well, blue, despite the fact he's going up the amp, they are looking to put on some pressure here, because they realize that orange and purple, because they must be on the back foot, you know, the amount of military that they had to make while being behind, that means they should be behind in Vil count. Green and blue should know that, and that's why they think this is the right time to pressure. Right as blue hits amp, orange will be very unhappy about that one. He probably thinking to himself like, oh god. Now, what this might prompt purple and orange to do is take a fight here. Because they want to take the fight before the upgrades come in for blue. They want to take the fight right now. But yeah, look at this. Blue is just going to sit right in these nice choke points here. Green is going to shield blue as good as he can. And I just can't take a fight right now. As Arbalest and Bracer will be in a second. On the other side though, we have Cavalier. Hallberg Cavalier as well, which means the castle is up. Very nice. Which means this Cavalier now have 8 Pierce armor. Very difficult to kill, even if you have Arbalest with full upgrades. Yeah, Gray for now is just going to defend himself. He has gone up to Imp, so at least there is that. Arbalest now in for blue, and remember these Arbalest do get the building, you know, bonus. So Team Secretito on the back foot for now. It's up to red and yellow if they can do some damage, especially right now because Teal is sending his Cavalier across the map, and Teal wants to break into yellow's base. That's what he's doing right now. Yellow's army is right here. This is where all the Cavalier are. If Gray can hold this army out for now, they might be in a good spot because there come the Cavalier from Teal at the same time. Still, ooh, that was a pretty good shot there from the Mangonel. No, look how many Arbalists died to that as well, and lots of them are weak as well. So that was a pretty good shot right there. As Teal now trying to get through this gate, but he's not attacking the gate with all his units, and he's allowing Yellow to get some walls up, and Yellow keeps this army out for now, giving him enough time to maybe send his Cavalier back. Ooh, that was a little bit of an execution problem for Teal there. At the same time, Blue and Green losing a lot of mass in Orange's base, while not really... I mean, for now, like, the early imp for the Viking player hasn't really paid off as much here as you would think. As Teal is still trying to break in, and now he does break in, but Yellow's army has arrived, and now it's going to be Cavalier versus Cavalier. Although, remember, the Malian Cavaliers, as long as you don't have a castle, they have less attack than the normal Cavaliers. So these Cavaliers are worse than the Sicilian Cavalier, who have more armor and more attack. So this is a giant cavalry fight over here, but Yellow has a lot of units. If he gets a castle up and gets Farimba, then it evens out big time. Yeah, you can see the extra armor for Teal definitely helping here, as Yellow is losing Cavalier fast now. Teal has way more Cavalier on the field now. Sicilian Hallberg Cavalier shining right here. Something that, yeah, you just need something extra about Malians. As Red is just basically shooting down a TC, and no, they don't have Saracens on their team, so it just takes a normal amount of time. It usually does. As Green and Blue lose their army, a lot of their army on the front here, giving Orange enough time to maybe get up to Imp and maybe defend himself adequately. But it's still going to be a struggle for Yellow and Red on this side. Yellow losing that giant mass of Cavalier, an expensive army to lose. And Teal still has a lot of his army left, as you can see. very scary armies. Army that red especially will not want to be close to. I think he saved those. He was sending Arbalest back. Where are those? Did they die? I think the Arbalest got massacred. Okay, that is, like I said, Arbalest cannot take the fight against these Cavalier by themselves. Like, they do 2 damage. 2 damage. Look how slow this Cavalier goes down. Look how slow. It's crazy. I tried to sitting at his choke point, and Teal's coming in from every side here, and he wants to kill this. He wants to kill these Cavalier. I mean, what do you make against these Cavalier at this point? You can't convert them because there's too many of them. You can't go Pikemen because that doesn't really work either. You can't go Arbalest because that doesn't work. The only thing that really kills Cavalier from Sicilians is other heavy cavalry. So it's gonna be up to the Malian player to get enough Cavalier out with Farimba. That's what you need here. Unfortunately, Malians do not get Paladin, which is... yeah, getting... Paladin is actually the best counter versus Sicilian Cavalier, because Paladins are significantly better than Cavalier. Let's look at the overall vill counts. I think it has evened out a little bit, but yeah, Teal still with 130 villages as well. Way more than anyone else in the field. Grey also... Grey, though, is stuck on 57 villages, so it doesn't actually have that much economy, but then again, you're Saracen, so, you know... Who needs economy when you have the market, huh? Getting his numbers back up after getting, getting attacked over here. And we have Desastres dictating the flow of the fights right now. On neither side can you really say, okay, Team Secretito has a lead here. So it's looking pretty good for Desastres here. It really is. But, I mean, it's, you know... It's not the end of the game just yet. I mean, we're not there. Like I said, Team Secretito, though not pushing, is not dead on either side. I mean, Orange, despite getting hit quite hard early there, has been booming back a little bit. Is at the 76 villagers, which is more than Grey, by the way, who got hit as well. Has some protection from the Teuton player here. Paladin coming in for a lot of people now, especially for the Teuton player on this side. We're just waiting for Yellow to get a castle. Let's see, is he on stone? He is on stone, so we're waiting for that castle. Once that castle goes up, there you go. Now you can get Farimba, and that will give you plus, what, 7 attack? Was that what the number is here? I think it's plus 7 attack on your knights and your camels. And that should really help here, because then you get a lot of bonus damage. Well, of course, cut in half by the Sicilian bonus. You get bonus damage, and you also get extra attack. But oh, red, a hole. There's a hole. You don't want to let this army in. Oh, red. Uh-oh. 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 Farimba isn't in yet. It isn't not in yet. I'm not seeing Yellow get the attack as well, and Teal's like, well, that's a hole. You're going to lose the town center now, and that town center is going to go down very quickly. Saracen archers and a lot of Cavalier like that. And now Yellow is forced to take a fight again. Oh, but Farimba just coming in. Let's see how this is going to go, though. Heavy camels and Cavalier with Farimba against the Sicilian bonus. Let's see how this is going to go. Lots of cross Arbalest as well. At the same time, we have a fight happening on the other side. Paladin versus Cavalier, and a lot of skirmishers, actually. Didn't get the upgrades quite there yet. Two giant fights happening at the same time. But look at the Farimba camels. Look at them shred the Cavalier here for the Sicilian player. Oh my god, that actually makes such a huge difference. That might be a really nice counter then, Malians. Farimba camels shred the Cavalier here. On the other side, though, it is Paladin for green. Paladin, which is much stronger than Purple's Cavalier. He was getting the upgrade right now, but it's such a long upgrade to come in, and green is going to absolutely destroy here. But Orange is making a lot of halberdier here, which will help him defend himself against these Paladins for now. This is that, but yeah, Blue remains here with a lot of Arbalest. Ay. But at least on the other side, red and yellow have a shot here. I think they can actually start a push now. The position from red and yellow is pretty nice. And oh, interesting. Yellow is sending his camels to the opposite side of the map. He wants to help on the right side. That's what he wants to do. He wants to make sure that the green, with this many paladins, cannot get a lead on the right side. That's very important to them. As Teal's still trying to break in. Well, these two Halberd Cavalier can still kill a lot of units, but I think Teal forgot about them, so... Forward casting out from Blue, which Purple can easily trap down if he really wanted to, so we'll see. Yellow's army on the way, but it takes a while before they can get there. As Teal is also is also making outposts to get himself some vision here as well. Red, in the meantime, is putting some pressure on Grey and denying this castle for now. Very nice. Not a lot of Cavalier here now for the Sicilian player to deal with that. I think the Sicilian player is kind of lacking the gold to make more. Yep, doesn't have a lot of gold. Needs to get trade up, which they are thinking about, as you can see. Trade, though, is pretty complicated considering these wood lines. As Yellow makes it to the base of Blue's castle now. Purple finally making some paladins, but not a whole lot. Purple's economy just not as good as Green's economy, I think. Oh, actually, it's better. Never mind. He'll get his mass up. And now, I think Yellow... Oh, but a giant shot here by an onager here from Orange. Look at how many Arbalests went down there. We just caught that. Lucky us, huh? Yeah, but the camels are being sent into the paladin, sent into the eco now. To save what was left of Orange's economy, but as you can see, not a whole lot. 39 villagers for Orange now, most of whom are trapped on the right side here. But with the camels, he should be able to kill paladins quite fast. That's a lot of damage that they do. At the same time, Yellow and Red together trying to stop Grey from getting this castle up and stalling out this push. Now that Yellow's here with the camels, though, I do not think that this castle goes up. It's a doubt castle. It is such a doubt castle. On like 85% here. At the same time, the Farimba camels, they are dying to the Arbalest here though. So Orange alive but not kicking. It's going to be very precarious. Drops the castle here to stall out the pressure. Orange will have to just fortify and hold as long as he can. And Purple will have the difficult task of holding on by himself basically. And stall out the pressure from Green and Blue. At the same time, though, Grey is kind of dying to the pressure right now. I mean, Yellow is just sending his units everywhere as Teal's trade is kind of going to the middle here, which is, yeah, that's not good. Yeah, Yellow also, his camels already going for that trade, and that's quite expensive actually. Trade cards, they're not cheap. But oh boy, the thundering hooves of the Teuton cavalry making their way slowly but surely to the other side of the map, and they want to find a way into Yellow's base. As Yellow has figured it out though, is trying to surround it with camels. The other Teuton player coming in with Paladin as well, which are just as good as the Teuton Paladins from Green. And Green losing a lot of Paladin here to Farimba cavalry. Look how much damage those camels do against Paladin. That's crazy. They have 14 attack plus all the bonus damage, and you're not Sicilian, so that's not limited at all. Score has switched for Team Secretito. Even though Orange is in a really bad spot right now, Purple and Purple and Orange together are holding on as good as they can, and Yellow is just brutalizing everyone right now. And I know that is a word joke I have made before. Castle is denied, and Grey even gave up on it. Ooh, Red though losing a bunch of his Arbalest right here. As Yellow is just sniping villagers in the back of Teal's base. Something that Teal can't really deal with. Because if he's going to send in a Cavalier, doesn't do too well in that situation. I think, looks like, I mean, someone was taking down his castle. I'm not seeing any trebuchets, so I don't think that's what it is. As Green now taking a fight against the camels with the help of Blue this time around. Camels, of course, only 4 pierce armor, so they die quite quickly to Arbalest, taking 6 damage from them, but they kill cavalry so quickly. Look how many Teuton Paladins are going down here, despite the fact that there's also a lot of camels going down. So Yellow will be okay with this. Oh god, there's so much happening now, as now we have Teuton Scout Cavalry being sent into to raid. Oh, Purple, you are funny. Teutons, of course, don't get the light cav upgrade, so this is about as good as it gets. These are the most tanky Scout Cavalries you will ever see. On the other side, though, Sicilian players sending in some light cav to raid on this side, as we now have stables going up from the Bohemian player. Bohemian Cavalry? Really? Bohemians have one of the worst cavalries in the game. No bloodlines, no final armor upgrade. It's yeah, well, it's rough, isn't it? It's not really the right civilization to go heavy cavalry with. As interesting though, but Red getting caught off guard here by a bunch of Cavalier that can easily kill all these Arbalests. So Red will have to try to find a choke point here. I think he can maybe sit over here or somewhere in the wood line, but yeah, as long as he micros. I guess for now, what he does, he realizes that he cannot kill these Cavaliers, so instead he's focusing down these trade cards, or at least he was before. Could kill these 3 as well if he wants to. Yeah, it's good to hurt the trade, actually. It's good. As Yellow is also sending in his camels. And oh boy, Teal. That's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. He can't escape. There's no way to escape this. There's only one hole in this wood line. So Yellow spreads out his units now. Yellow. Oh, you lucky bastard. You are so lucky, Teal. Teal can get away now. Oh, but on the other side, we have Purple invading Green's home base, sniping on a whole lot of villagers as well, as Yellow is raiding as well. Purple is here with Scout Cavalry of all things, and Green is scrambling to defend himself. He is down to 56 villagers. That's crazy. How many vills did he lose in the last 5 minutes? That's insane. So while Blue is still kind of holding this forward position by himself, he's still trapping down. He can't easily push now because Green is... incapacitated for a while. That paladin spam is not going to happen, and Green too is also making scout cavalry right now. You know you're in a bad spot with Teutons if you're forced to make scout cavalry of all things. Still not taking a fight here at the base of Gray's castle, which he did get up here, which I'm sure Red was anxious to get down, maybe. We're also seeing Team Secretito getting the trade up as well, as you can see. And it's going to be much more efficient for them because they're just trading within their base. Much more safe than the trade for Desastres. Because of the way they cut, right? They cut the front of the wood line instead of the back. As Yellow is losing a lot of camels here because camels do not do well under ranged attack. So yeah, Yellow's going to run away here. He knows that's not a fight that he can win there. So it's better to preserve your numbers and fight another day. Yellow dropping a castle in the middle of the map here as well, denying this, well, what should have been denied the gold from Teal, but Teal already finished chopping that. So, I don't think he will mind too much here. I like all the extra, I like the fact that we actually have a game where all the extra gold is being taken here. Something Teal tried to do on this side as well, but that's not going to happen. Yeah, Blue is still slowly making his way into Orange's base, but Orange is just defending with cheap trash. And this is really when Byzantines, like, do really well. It's when people start running out of gold, right? The trash war, Byzantines shine. And also the fact if you don't have a lot of economy, which Orange is only at 57 villagers. That's not enough to make a whole lot of gold units. But you can make cheap Byzantine trash. That is not a problem. Yeah, some more paladins going forward now. But right now, I think Green's switching into some halberdiers because he simply doesn't have the gold to afford... to afford more paladin production. Simply does not have the gold to do it. As Teal is also switching into a whole lot of halberdiers, which will definitely help kill the camels, will definitely help kill the light cap that Yellow is continuously streaming into Teal's base here. The vill counts for Desastres are not looking too hot. Like at least 3 players here for Team Secretito are above 100 villagers. With the exception of Orange, and Orange has a very good reason for that. He got wrecked by paladins. You know, we are reasonable like that. For Desastres though, it's only Blue which still has an intact economy as well because it wasn't hit at all at this point. Look at that Bohemian Lightcap raiding together with Yellow, and Yellow is not responding to it either. Teal now he realizes it has to send back these lumberjacks because otherwise there's no one to garrison the town center here. Vill count for Teal continuing to fall, and he will have to invest a lot of food to get those vill counts back up. Gray is down to 35 vills. Green is down to 77 villagers. On the other side, though, I mean, the possession is alright for Desastres. I mean, Teal, Green, and Blue are deciding to go together here to try to kill off Purple, who is mostly making scout cavalry because he does not have a lot of gold to make anything else. Simply can't afford it. Does have a castle here to defend himself. There's a lot of cheap skirmishers. Orange is trying to snipe as many of these arbalists as he can, but yeah, the paladin from Green making short work of that. And then there comes Teal joining the fight with a lot of cavalier, followed closely by Yellow, who is sending in his camels. Remember that Teal at the same time is also having to deal with continuous raids in his own base, having to send back a lot of halberdiers for that as well. Gray is still holding on, but now that the siege is out, that's not going to last too long, I'd say. So the left side for Desastres is crumbling right now. The right side, though, for Desastres, because Teal basically telling Gray, yo, just hold on as long as you can, allow us to maybe get a kill, maybe kill orange and purple finally. As Teal sends in his Cavalier in the back economy. He wants to see if there's a lot of economy to kill here. As, wow, okay, someone actually deleted their Victoria. I guess whoever controlled that Victoria wanted to have the population space, so just deleted it because it wasn't maybe worth his time. Something like that. I'm not sure whose it was, whether it was orange or purple, but in any case, Cavalier now fighting against Scout Cavalry. I mean, the Scout Cavalry should definitely not be able to win this. Obviously not. But then there were the Camels, and the Camels should clear this for sure. Orange still holding on as good as he can, and they just have to hold on. If they can keep holding on against the might of 3 Disastrous players on the right, the left side of the Disastrous team will fall for Team Secretito, and they know that as well. They know that red and yellow are going to have an easy time pushing this. And also stalling out the trade. Not something that that Disasters will want to deal with. Like, really, I think it's important for Disasters maybe to relocate the trade here, so it's more safe, because this trade is going to go down, as you can see. Look at that, and that is expensive. Very expensive. It's not like they were making a whole lot of gold units anyways, but... Well, imagine if the Sicilian player could continue to spam Cavalier. That'd be really nice. As Yellow running in here with his units now, just to try to kill the last Cavalier that are left from Teal. Yeah, Teal lost most of his units there. He is switching mostly into a Halberdier now. It's mostly trash here for Disasters, if units at all. Their economies just aren't very good. I do like all the walling attempts on the front of your base, like even trying to stonewall a little bit here and there, just to keep out the pressure even more. It's just, I mean, the score doesn't display a lot of difference. But if you look at the vill counts, that is a world of difference. Especially Grey down to 14 villages now. Grey just has nothing. He has a few lumberjacks. He's trying to get back into this game, but there's not much he can do. He can only hope that Teal can hold on by himself. But if Teal now has to defend his own base against this, he cannot send a lot of units forward. That means that green and blue will have to fend for themselves. And blue, despite the fact he was making Arbalests, is now run out of gold. And if you run out of gold, no more Arbalest for you, because blue didn't have a lot of trade either. And, well, the final Arbalest dying right now to Farimba Camels. Well, I mean, not all of them, actually, because Teal's dealing with that with the Halberdiers. Hey, Camels don't do well at all against Halberdiers. I mean, Mali and Camels will do the best against Halberdiers, honestly. But still, that's not... The best is still not very good. Yeah, and this as well. Look at this. Yellow is just spamming a whole lot of units into this, and I think Teal got a lot of kills right there. Right, sitting right at the gather point for Yellow's stable, so that was pretty smart. As now the Teuton... Oh my god. How many Scout Cavalry are we going to make here? Purple. Oh my god. I mean, these are Scout Cavalry with 9 attack, 5 melee armor, 6 pierce armor, and 65 HP. It's not a very good unit, but, well, there you go. Teuton Light Cavalry. They don't get that upgrade, so... Wow, this is encouraging though. I saw some paladins in the queue, so purple is definitely making more paladins now. He is spamming them forward as well. He's trying to get into blue space, and blue will have to defend himself now. Oh boy, this might be a nice a blow to blue's economy as well, because blue might have still had the most villagers, 104 of his team, but what is he going to do against paladin? What is he going to do against paladin? Now, it's commendable, by the way, that Desastres has taken as much map control as they have, as you can see, right? They have taken a lot of map control, kind of cutting the map in half as well, making it very difficult for Team Secretito to get across the map to the other side. You know, you have to pass through buildings, which always is a risk. But yeah, at this point, you see that the war machine, and I know that's a joke, but you see that the war machine behind Desastres has kind of dried up. You look at the queues. Compare the queues here for Desastres and for Team Secretito. At least for red and yellow especially. They're still making a lot of units, and especially red has trade. Red has gold. It's actually out of wood on this side. My god. Wow, I didn't think we were going to get to that point where the entire circle is chopped down. Wow, wood might actually be an issue for Team Secretito. They've burned through all of it. And you now have Scout Cavalry raiding an Imperial Age. When did you think you were going to get to see that, huh? Scout Cavalry and Imperial Age. Well, here you go. Here you go. They will die insanely fast to the Halberdier. They will not last too long under town center fire. But man, will they kill villagers fast with 9 attack. They're basically like knights without upgrades in Castle Ace. Kind of. Blue is trying to farm up front. Well, that's not going to happen anymore. Looks like most of the paladins for purple have disappeared by now. But the damage is getting done. I mean, blue is down to 86 villagers. Yeah, lost 20 villagers due to the paladins. And you know that more paladins are going to come out. And all that the Desastres can do about it right now is just spam halberdiers, which are... Oh, yellow. Ballistics. I know you're the pocket player, but ballistics, man. Oh, we have a little fight on the top over here as well. Yes, halberdier technically counter light cap, but not when it's more than a 30 light cap versus 3 halberdiers. That's not a thing. I must say that Teal and Grey, they have been able to hold on as good as they have. Like Teal even walling this up, that's very smart. You know, just keep making a choke point, try to hold and fortify as good as you can. But man, just the light cap rates have been incessant as well. Like, I can't keep looking over at the home base for Desastres, but there's always scout cavalry, there's always light cap just running around and raiding. It's like the most unlikely cavalry units too. It's Bohemian light cavalry. It is Teuton scout cavalry, right? Like units you never see because, well, why would you ever go cavalry with either of those civs like that? I mean, Malian light cav is fine. They are at least a cavalry civ with all the upgrades. And also for Rimba, so, you know, remember, light cap with 14 attack. That's pretty nice. Light cap that is gonna make its way to Teal and Grey's economy. No, leave poor Grey alone. Leave him alone, he's only at 30 villagers. He just got there, and now it's like, nope. Reboom denied. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What's going on the other side? We have some fights, desperate fights here around Blue's castle, but that poor castle will go down. Yeah, and now you're stuck in a skirm war, and guess what? That is what Byzantines do best. They will take the skirmisher war every day. And these are also... Yeah, I mean, Viking skirmishers are just nothing special, but they cost full price as well. As Grey is getting absolutely massacred. And it's just at this point that you're just asking yourself, like, what's the win condition here? They're being pushed back on the right as well. That was the only forward position here available to Desastres. And if they're going to get pushed back on both sides, I just don't see how you would continue there, right? Like with the vill counts that they have, I mean, Grey is down to 2. He didn't even try to stop this, so I'm pretty sure that they're going to call it a GG here. The fact that Grey's not trying to save his vills, that means he's not gonna bother with it. I mean, why? Yeah, exactly. There you go. See? Didn't save his villagers, so that told me that he wasn't gonna continue playing. That's a GG. They're probably talking about it like, he's probably saying like, yeah, I'm dead. So, you know, let's GG time. And yes, it is GG. And indeed, well played. This was a really good game. This was maybe the closest game of the series so far. And man, did it go on for quite some time as well. But in the end, Desastres tapped out, and it seems Secretito, despite being on the back foot for the first part of this game for sure, gets the win. And I think a large part of that is also due to the fact that Rimba Camel can consistently beat Sicilian Cavalier. The fact also that Grey and Teal took a bad fight in Red's base where they got absolutely massacred. And then at some point, you know, it was... Yeah, there was just nothing that Teal could make to really deal with these freaking Rimba Camels beyond Halberdiers. On the other side, though, Green definitely outspamming everyone here. Lots of paladins for him. A lot of paladins. I wonder if he got some sling from his teammates so he could afford all of that. But the same problem applies there. The Rimba Camels actually saving the day. Like, I think Rimba Camels are an underrated unit because they are so freaking strong. Like, yeah, Rimba cavalry is awesome, but honestly, this might have been indeed a brutal game. Yeah, like, look at the score. Look at it. It's 25,000. That's, yeah, I think that's why I like Rimba more for camels, because it makes up the weakness that camels have, which is a low base attack. That's not a problem anymore with Rimba. Yeah, GG, man. Yeah, blue and green, they had a really nice lead on orange there. Like, especially orange getting wrecked by paladins for a while there. But it was smart from yellow to recognize, okay, gray's not going to be able to push out by themselves. Like, we got such a smash victory on the left side here that it's safe for me to move my camels to the other side and help orange a little bit. And that stalled out green and blue enough for purple to kind of get his stuff together, get his own paladins out, and maybe stall it out even more. So yeah, GG. Now let's look at the statistics. I know that we all want to see those, so here we go. Boom. Yeah, there you go. I mean, Teal got a lot of kills with Halberdiers as well, but the real KD King here is brutal with 739 kills and only 529 losses. A lot of that was camels lost to Halberdiers, but so many villagers he killed. So many Cavalier and Paladins were killed by the Perimba camel. So. And also look at the buildings raised, 66. That's a lot of buildings raised. Wow. Also 93 army. Pog. 130 army for Teal. Well, I mean, at some point, right? That was mostly Halberdier because he didn't have a lot of villagers. So why not have 130 army, right? Yeah, on the other side, unfortunately for Grey, the fight's just not really going their way. For green at the end, also not, but green got a lot of kills in spite of that. Definitely at the expense of orange, as you can see. Yeah, this was a game with a lot of kills, lots of stuff going on. A great economy here for yellow as well. Definitely had most villagers working for the longest time, and of course his base wasn't continuously raided by Bohemian Light Cav and Teuton Scout Cavalry of all things. That must be frustrating when you have that kind of stuff raiding your base, and it's like, that's almost not even worth it to fight against, but I have to, because they can still kill villagers. Yeah. Like a little bit of slinging going on, especially for orange to keep him alive. Wow, look at that. And also the fact that, wow, look, yellow has done all of that without getting that much sling. What about green? Okay, so this is what I thought, right? Because green had a whole lot of paladin on the field. And I mean a whole lot of paladin. So I suspected that he probably got some help here from his teammate. Especially here you can see blue slinging a whole bunch of resources here to yeah, that must have been to gray and to yellow there. Probably a lot of food, excess food that blue had because he's not spending that food. He was making Arbalest after all, allowing green to get all those paladins out. So that was my guess, but 150 villages there for Teal. Man, look at the booms they had before they started getting raided. Yeah, overall, it's just very equal. Like, orange and gray both being on the back foot. But yeah, orange with a better vill count allowed them to continue to spread the trash war for a longer time. Like, that's what you can do with Byzantines. You have fewer villagers, but yeah, it's cheaper. So you can actually keep up with an opponent who has more vills than you. And wow, okay, I guess yellow got all the relics then. They probably wanted him to have the relics so he could spam more camels and things like that. Very smart. Yeah, GG. And look at this. Like, it was so even up here as well. But two critical fights are right there. That fight over here where gray and teal lost their mass, and then the fight over here where green started losing his paladins over here gradually, right? And also blue. Though blue kept his Arbalest alive for a long time. He lost a bunch there, but man, it was a good game. It was a good game. Let me update the scoreboard here as well. Team Secretito, so that is 1-2. Well, we are going to go to the final home map for Desastres then. That will be Pampa, as I thought. And wow, such poetic, no, not justice, but it's just poetic that the final game will be on Pampa, which Dragan will probably love. And I guess, unfortunately, also the final game of the day, since there will not be any Category B finals today, if everything still goes according to what they currently said there, which I will trust. So, well, I mean, final set, but I mean, if let's first see if Desastres can make it work on their home map, which I know they can, because I've seen plenty of games by them on Pampa, and I know that they know what they're doing there. But you'll see something in a second here. Let's go to the third game on Pampa, and you're probably thinking, like, what is he looking at? What is he looking at? It's the Tars. Yep. We will talk about that in a second. Oh boy. Yeah, because Tatars are cursed on this map. We all know that. So we'll see. Let's just keep our fingers crossed because we are slightly rooting for Desastres now. I mean, I will always want to keep my cast as neutral as I possibly can. I don't want to have any bias towards any team because I love you all. And, you know, that's... A good caster shouldn't be biased towards one team, in my opinion, honestly. But I do want as many games as I can get out of a series. So I usually root for whatever team has to win so I can get another game. So we're slightly in the ball in the corner of Disasters on this one because we want to go to a game 5. And honestly, a set like this with teams that are this good deserves as many games as you can get out of it. So keep our fingers crossed. Let's introduce the players here. We'll start with the team whose home map this is. In the blue, we have Aleko Kamet playing as the Japanese. I love that. In the green, we have War Machine playing as the Magyars. Very strong as well. In the teal, we have Cumans for Herno. Very dangerous Civ as well. And then we have Frank Kamet playing as the Tatars. And I hope to God that he's not cursed like everyone else has been. I'm telling you, only one time did I see Tatars actually make a positive impact on this map, right? Where you can say the contribution of the Tatar player actually helped win the game. There was one other game where the Tatar player won, but not. It was in spite of the Tatar player because he was far behind. So we'll see. We'll see. Hey, maybe Gray can break the curse. In the orange, we have Tomichi Wara playing as the Japanese on this side. Interesting. Interesting that Japanese wasn't picked on the other side, as you will see in a second. In the purple, we have Legionario going for Mongols. Ooh. That is an interesting pick as well. We'll have some comments on that one. In the yellow, we have Hans, played by Brutal, who likes to spam his cavalry, and Hans is a Civ that you can do that with. And then in the red, we have the Zeus playing as the Koreans. Alrighty. Now, the reason why I say that I'm kind of surprised that Japanese isn't picked on this side of the map is very simple because of what Pampa is. On the right side of the map, and it is always the right side between red and blue, you will see a little pond with fish. Fish that's not enough to get the entire team up to imp, but red and blue will definitely want to fight over this one. And if you're Japanese, your fishing ships work faster, so you gather more food, and your fishing ships are harder to kill, so you can stay on water longer with them. Yeah, I mean, they already have a lot of offensive bonuses for water. You save a bit of wood here and there so you can get that dock up faster, as blue is already getting that dock up now. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Blue doesn't have loom. Blue doesn't have loom, and red is checking for this. He's checking for the villager. He's gonna find the villager. Oh, blue, quick wall. Oh, no. Oh, it's a goner. That villager's dead. Oh. That is rough. That is really rough. Delaying the dock, and now you lose a villager as well. Ay. You just saw it coming, right? You saw it coming. You saw red was looking around for it. He was hanging around here. He was waiting for that villager. That's the thing also, right? You can expect your opponent wants to dock here, so you should always check for it and see if that's actually what's happening. And now, blue, he didn't want to get loom, so he's keeping his scout cavalry close now. Means also that red could go out now and dock without having to worry about it himself. It's not doing that so far. And actually, might not even dock at all, actually. Look at this. You put a mill on the berries. And if you're putting a mill in your berries, you will not have the wood to afford a dock immediately. So, that might tell me that red is actually not even interested in contesting the water. I'll have some comments on that in a second. Let's first continue our discussion of the map. So, as you can see, there is giant wood lines in the middle. That's where most of the wood on this map is. There's plenty of wood to take. I've never seen a wood run out on this map. Also, it's like a maze in the middle as well. Lots of little tight spots to fight over. And also to sneak your army to the other side and maybe hit your opponent. And then on the left side, as you can see, the titular pampas. There's a few bits of bushes over here, but not a whole lot, as you can see. Some stone here and there. Yeah, it's very hilly. Now, this is the biggest reason why we always say Tatars should, in theory, be good. And I have been saying that every single time someone picks Tatars on this map, and I've been proven wrong, apparently, every single time as well. It's because theory and practice are two completely different things. Yes, in theory, Tatars should be able to make good use of the hill bonuses, right? Like take good fights on the different hills, but actually, not so much on this map. Wow, what are the odds of that? Look at this. It's just flat. Like, you pick Tatars on a map that is supposed to be the most hilly, right? It's supposed to look like this everywhere. As orange and teal are kind of fighting over here, right? And then you literally have a flat space in front of your base. That kind of sucks. Man, go for Tatar, and their main bonus is now not really useful anymore. So, well, that's Pampas for you, so we'll see how that's going to turn out. I hope that Grey will be able to make it to the other side of that plateau then, because if you can fight on this hill, that'd be really nice. But there's not another hill to back up to, that was the strength of the Tatars here, right? They can always back up to another hill, take good engagements, and that's not going to be the case now, so we'll see. In any case, blue is probably figured out by now that red is not docking. Now, what that means is that blue will be able to get a lot of fishing ships out, and that his fishing economy is going to be very good. You're going to have a lot of extra food that red does not have. Also means your castle each time is probably going to be better. Two things you should do though. Probably try to wall this up, and get 2 galleys out. Just make 2 galleys, one here, one there, and red can never dock anymore. Because galleys can deny something like that. And that's why, right? Just to make sure. You don't want red to go back on water at some point and get a fire ship out on Castle Age and completely massacre your fish. Now, what this means is that red is not going to have the food to go up to Castle Age anytime soon. Instead, what he's going to do is he's going to go aggressive on land. Invest his wood immediately in archery ranges instead of a lot of fishing ships. But he will still have to afford a lot of farms later on. So, it's still going to be tricky. If he can get an advantage over blue in the early game, then all of this might be worth it. But if not, then blue will have a better economy, and he will get ahead of red sooner rather than later. As between the Hun and the Magyar player, both very aggressive civilizations, but Magyars, of course, with the scary scout with +1 attack in the every age that you get that you go up, because you get it for free. Very dangerous adversary to have. Then between Cumans and Mongols. So Mongols can have a fast uptime, even though that's not what purple is going to go for, because, well, I don't think there's that much, there's no extra hunt here or anything like that, so, unfortunately for them. I should think it's going to be scouts for now, but the thing with Mongols is that they lack late-game heavy cavalry. Think about it. You don't get the last armor upgrade on your knight and your cavalier, and you don't get paladin, obviously, so that might be a problem. As the men-at-arms from Orange, we didn't actually talk about that at all. But yeah, Orange has made men-at-arms, has made it to the end of across the map as well. And these are Japanese men-at-arms, by the way. And I know that Tamichiwara likes his men-at-arm rush. I'm pretty sure that he does that like all the time too. Like, I remember that from earlier games, honestly. Japanese men-at-arms are the way to go in that case, because Japanese men-at-arms attack faster. They are scary. Very, very scary. Blue not making any defensive units on water, so he has, at least he knows that he doesn't have to fight over water, but still, right? Just to make sure, as the other men-at-arms are slowly making their way to the gold, that guy gets quick walled out, so these men-at-arms won't be able to do that much, I guess. That is a precarious wood line I have to take wood from. As well as Grey tries to quick wall this out, but that's just a palisade gate now. That's 30 wood gone, and now the men-at-arms make it into the gold as well, and there's no escape as well for these villagers, and one villager already down because these men-at-arms kill Bill so quickly. This is the danger. Japanese men-at-arms are no joke. Grey's not gonna love his life here. On the other side, yep, this is what I was hoping that yellow and red would do. This is what they should do, right? If they're gonna forfeit water, they have to gain an advantage on land soon. Because the longer it goes on, the better the economy for blue. But blue now about to lose 3 villagers, maybe even. Yeah, 1 down, another down. Okay, that weak one survives. So 2 villagers down for blue. Has that tower up on gold though, so at least he can continue to make archers for now. At least there is that. But not really the ideal start that he was hoping for, at least. Has the fish, though, is checking whether red is docking that or not. So, you know, he can add more fish if he wants to. Can go for fishing traps as well. It's going to be difficult to raid. As, ooh, Teal makes it into purple's wood line. Well, there must have been an overchop somewhere. And that's, that might be a dead villager or 2 here for purple. As Teal is trying to block this as well. Trying to blocks really nicely and gets the kill. Very nice. Yeah, Teal's going to even get away with that without taking too much damage on his scouts. And, oh, running away from the spearman. Very nice. I think Orange's men-at-arms have... Well, they're still alive, so Grey will have to deal with that now. It doesn't have quite a lot of archers out, and look how many archers are already coming forward for Orange. It's such a smooth game plan, man. Men-at-arms and then some archers to boot. Ay, 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 ay. As Red is harassing the fishing ships, but these fishing ships have 6 spears armor, so these archers do not do a lot of damage. 1 damage, actually, versus these fishing ships, so they're not going to be able to do a whole lot. Yeah, wouldn't it be funny that if you have 5 attack as a unit and your opponent has 6 armor, that you just do 0 damage? That'd be pretty broken, actually. Be fair. Yeah, Teal, of course, sniped some villagers, but lost a bunch of scouts, so we'll have to back up now. Now, what I want to know is this, yeah, is Teal gonna go for a human second TC, which he is doing. Now, that means that he's not gonna get up to castle age as fast as the Mongol player, but luckily the Mongol player kind of drops off in castle age, so at least there's that. As, oh, yeah, Blue losing a bunch more villagers as well to Red and Yellow, who have been running around here. That's 3 villagers down again for Blue, and Blue is losing villagers fast. Now, he's still at 35, right? And that sounds good, but remember that that is also a lot of fishing ships, so that counts a bit differently, in my opinion. As Yellow's splitting up his scouts just to harass the villagers as well, and now Blue has to abandon the wood line, loses 2 more. It's just, it's massacre for Blue. Wasn't able to lock down his base, has lost 4 villages in the last, no, 5 villages in the last 2 minutes here. If he did not have his fish, he would be kind of dead right now. The fish is going to keep him alive for now. He's also up to castle age, which, you know, he can get some crossbows out. But the position he is in is awful. Absolutely awful. Yeah, Red and Yellow have done such a great job with the early aggression. And at the same time, walling up their side of the map as well. Look at all those walls. That's a lot of walling as well. So they will be safe for the duration of this game. And this is exactly how you should approach this fight. If you're going to yield water, your opponent will get an eco lead. You have to do damage. I see teams try this, and it hasn't always worked out for everyone. But right now, Team Secretito is just all over Desastres. On the left, Gray is getting cursed as Tatars, because Tatars are cursed. They're just cursed. I don't know what it is about Tatars, but they're just cursed. And it's not like Japanese have like the best eco bonus in the game or anything. They save a bit of wood here and there, but that's about it. As Gray has to abandon his only wood line right now, except the one in the south, which had to be abandoned as well. Yeah, Gray has no wood. He has no wood, can't make any archers, can't go up to castle age either, just doesn't have the... Actually has the food for it, but not the gold. But doesn't have the wood to build a market to click himself up. And that is untrue as well, because he does have the wood for that. Now, Teal doing a good job here, cleaning up the scouts from purple, so at least there is that. But orange still has 10 archers here with fletching and armor, so Yellow looking around, looking for some kills here in Green's base, who is on the way to castle age, so at least there's that. Yeah, but the advantage for Team Secretito is just, it's getting quite significant here. It's getting quite significant. They're already 100 score ahead in the team score, and in the early game that actually means a lot, right? The later it goes, of course, it doesn't matter a lot anymore. As Teal wants to take a fight against these scouts, has gotten all his fuel age upgrades, so that those are very tanky scouts, wants to kill as many archers as he can before Orange joins with reinforcement, and I think he will be able to get a clear up there. A very nice for Teal to get his upgrades, get some scouts out, and clear this up, because otherwise Gray would have been in a worse spot than he already is, as he's trying to drop a tower on the left, but now Orange immediately showing up with another army of 11 archers right there again to take down this tower. And yeah, Gray will have to abandon that tower, deletes it, and won't be able to make another town center. 2 town centers, I mean, in the next stage. As if you were going to get the boom at this rate, actually. So, oh boy. Now, Blue is in the castle age, but now you're up against walls. And Yellow is already in the castle age as well. We'll drop some knights with +2 armor soon, I'm sure. Yep, it's coming in right now. And you see that the fish for Blue is starting to get more inefficient as well, because they'll have to sail further and further to get to the fish, which means that your food income that you get from that is going to get more limited by the minute. Still trying to repeat his success last time, but this time around he doesn't have 6 knights, and Orange is paying attention to it this time. He's microing this away, and these scouts, despite all the upgrades that they have, will not be able to kill these archers. But then there is Gray with skirmishes with no upgrades, and now it's crossbows, and now Orange has the hill as well. And this army will stay alive for now. And look at this spam of knights that's coming forward as well. Remember that Mongols, despite having a awkward middle age, right? Like where it's castle age. If you're ahead, which purple and orange kind of are in position at least, I don't think Mongols be having a kind of iffy mid game. Not going to really be a problem for you. Now, blue still has to fish, right? So you should still be bringing in more food than red, who is relying on farms. But yeah, both of them are in castle age now, and in the end, it is red and yellow who have the walls up, and blue and green do not. And blue also has fewer villagers than red does. And remember, that is counting these 7 fishing ships. So blue doesn't have a lot of games at all, villagers at all. I mean, as teal taking a fight now. Taking a fight against the knights here, which both of them have +2, which is important, but orange is just sitting here, sniping a few extra knights, chipping away at the HP, and allowing purple to take a good fight, and now teal still can't clear this up. Still can't clean this up. Now, the shining... I mean, the ray of hope here is that teal is at 66 villagers. Hernot proving last game that with a good economy, he can definitely spam like a madman. But is it too late? That's the question. Because gray, 22 villagers. Blue, 43, but really 36 villagers. Yeah, green, 49 villagers, which is decent. But, I mean, yellow is at 54, so that's a pretty good build lead right there. It's gonna take a miracle now. A miracle for Desastres to really get a good engagement over here. The left side is already kind of lost. Like, there's not much that gray can do at this point. It's gonna come down to the right side. If blue and green can get a clear up here, can push yellow and red and get a win on that side, then there is hope still. You know, there is hope still. Because, you know, Magyars, Japanese versus Mongols, Japanese. You'd favor the Magyars, Japanese. As green trying to get into a choke point here. Green was trying to shield that as well. The army numbers are so similar. This is so critical. Whoever loses this fight, that can decide this game. Because the left side is already crumbling. Like, gray at this point is just basically sitting in his town center and waiting to get killed here. And maybe add a town center down here. That's what he's doing now on stone. Yeah, gray, what he's going to do now, he's going to try to fortify as much as he can. Cavalry archers are definitely off the menu. That is not going to happen. Not even close. And teal, using a superior economy, will have to use all of that to spam more knights than purple and try to keep purple out. Now, Tatars do get camels, but then again, so do the Mongols, so at least there's that. And it's now, blue losing a fishing ship. Yeah, red is just being annoying, making sure that these fishing ships can't be anywhere near this dock. As, at the same time though, green and yellow kind of looking to take a fight now. Yellow getting in on the crossbows for blue as well, killing a bunch of them before green can really engage against this. Blue trying to micro away from that, and this is a critical fight. Some of green's knights already attacking red's crossbows. At the same time, lots of yellow's knights have gone down here. Slightly better fight for Desastres, I would say, if you compare the knight masses now. But more crossbows for the Korean player as opposed to the Japanese player. And red and yellow moving back. They want to preserve their armies because they know if they lose their armies, then you're giving Desastres a way back into this game. But it is critical also that teal holds on the left. That is critical as well. You know what would really be an FU kind of move for orange? If he goes for cavalry archers. You wouldn't know it, but Japanese have fully upgraded cavalry archers. They could totally do that. That'd be a big middle finger to gray. Poor gray. As wow, that was a pretty good fight to take again for Desastres. This is looking good. They're pushing forward now. They are just thinning out the crossbow numbers here for red. They are the knight numbers for yellow aren't the same as they are for green. But red is up to imp. Wow. Wow, I'm not sure how he managed to do that. That must have been either good macro, market, or sling from his teammates. But going up to imp here is a critical move. Because that is something that blue and green are not going to expect. And once red makes it to imp, Arbalists are going to shred everything here. Oh, we have a fight on the other side though. Teal trying to hold on as good as he can, trying to make sure, you know, the purple can't break in, and he does it. He does it. He holds against purple's knights with the superior knight spam from 3 stables here. More economy equals more knights, and he's going to clean up these crossbows from orange now. And that is exactly what they needed here. Exactly what they needed, because as long as teal can hold on the left, there is still a shot for green and blue on the front. But blue has to click out the imp here soon. And I'm not sure, yeah, I don't think that Blue's going to do it. Blue's economy, after all that damage, is still pretty limited. Look at that. Yeah, that is not the economy you would have wanted. Red has way more eco than Blue does. As now Yellow and Red again looking to take a fight. Green sniping the Mangonel, but now Red makes it to Imp. He moves back from the front. Blue and Green instantly moving forward because they want to take a fight right now. They want to get the clear up as good as they can. So this is the final fight if they take the fight here, which Red will not want to allow. He's going to move away, and oh, look at that. You can't even chase this now. It's just too slow. Red is going to keep his crossbow safe. He's going to get Arbalest. And at that point, Green can be nowhere near this. And oh, that is so close. That was so close. Bunch of crossbows going down for Blue as well. And now it's Arbalest. Yellow taking a fight with so many knights as well from the other side. Blue cannot escape anymore. He's getting shot by the Arbalest from the back here. Arbalest will also shred the knights from Green, but honestly, Yellow doesn't need that anymore because Yellow is already killing Green as is. And with the armies for Disasters going down on the left side, that is the moment when you start to lose hope. Yeah, that was a disaster. That was what they needed, that army to push. They needed to have that momentum here. And the momentum is completely lost now. The only one with momentum now is Teal. But the problem is that Teal can only delay. He can't really push the left side by himself. He's going up to Imp though, so there's that. But yeah, Orange will be in Imperial Age. He will have Arbalest as well to deal with whatever Teal's going to make. And of course, Purple can still spam Knights as well. I mean, Purple is at how many villagers? Is at 74 villagers. That's not bad either. And Damage put some sad faces in the chat. Yeah. I mean, this must be so frustrating for Desastres, as now on the other side, Teal losing his Knight army just before he's gonna get upgrades. It's just... It must have been a heartbreaker as well, because they did so well. They were such a dominant team going through the group stage, going through the final stages of the playoffs. But now, with the Yellow and Red both making it to Imperial Age, with Teal losing his Knight army, will have to just defend on the left side. I don't think that Blue and Green are going to be able to hold this. They are playing on right now because, well, it's... As the dumbbell is wrong. They are playing on because, well, it's the finals. They don't want to give it up just yet because they know too that if they tap out now, then that is it for the set. But there is just no choice in this matter anymore. I just do not see how Green and Blue are ever going to push this back, even if Green is up to Imperial Age. It's just... Yeah, what can I say? The play from Team Secretito was just really good. Basically negate that giving up the fish by getting an early lead on land, then walling up to keep yourself safe when the early Castle Age pressure hits from Disasters, and then get an early Imp to push that all back again. It's just everything that could go wrong in the strategy that Disasters had went wrong for, you know, like they didn't get that early lead with the Feudal Boom. They didn't get that early lead with the Castle Age aggression because of the walls. And then, you know, even though they were taking some good fights over here, they were pushing this back. Blue was never able to get up the Imp in time to catch up with what Red was doing. And now you're basically defending on both sides. I mean, the only reason Teal's still alive is because he's humans and he has 116 villagers. That is the only reason. That's because he can. That's how he could make so many knights. But yeah, the Tatars are cursed, man. And I'm sorry to say that the Tatars have again been cursed for this map. I mean, Grey got up to 78 villagers. That's pretty impressive. Like, definitely reboomed here. Tried to get to a nice mass again. It didn't even get the crossbow upgrade yet. Yeah, he wasn't quite ready for this. But, yeah. As Blue's trying to evacuate the right side. But now you got Cavalier with full upgrades in your base. You got Arbalest with full upgrades in your base. Green, despite getting his upgrades in the second here, will not be able to take a fight against both of this. And Teal has to do the same thing on the left side. It's basically the pockets for Disasters. Just they're trying to hold on as good as they can, but it's, yeah, I mean, I hate calling games. I really do. Because I want to always believe in teams as long as I can. It's just, there is, of course, a limit to how much, you know, how much you can come back from. And at this point, the damage has been done. It's just, The position is just too bad as Teal is trying to take the best fight he can possibly take. Actually, a pretty good fight. Look, a fight before Purple gets his upgrades. Actually gets the clear up as well. Wow, that was a really good fight for Teal. Again, Teal has been taking such great fights on the left side. If only Gray was still, you know, had a nice massive military so they could push Orange and Purple now. You know, there might have been hope, but now you get Paladin in your economy. And once you see that, that means that Teal now has to split up his units on the left and the right side, and that's just 6.4k versus 4.8k. Yup. Ay. Oh, Teal. Oh. The humanity. There go the villagers. Green's still trying to hold on the left, but on the right, I mean. But yeah, no, that's not going to happen either. The Cavalier go down to the Arbalest spam. And Paladins in your economy is never something that you want to see. Paladin, an upgrade that Teal is getting right now, but it's going to take 2 minutes. And in those 2 minutes, he can't stop the Paladins from destroying his economy. And Yellow's just running away, waiting for a good moment to take a fight there. Teal sending some units forward. I mean, he's doing everything in his power to stall out the left side. Like, let's be honest, if Green and Blue had won that fight, and we're pushing blue, red and yellow, honestly, I think Teal would have been able to defend on his own. I think humans, if you get a nice boom going, are one of those rare civs that can do a 2v1 fairly well. Until, of course, your opponent's fully boom. At that point, you are behind in population. Again, Yellow losing a bunch of Paladin here because he's not taking fights. So, Teal's been defending like a boss on all sides, but it's just, you're delaying the inevitable. And the inevitable will come because red and yellow can run unopposed to the front here. Green and blue are not able to push that back. I mean, I guess if Gray and Teal were somehow able to get a push going on the left, maybe. But honestly, not when there's this much army already hitting the right of your base. As Blue is trying to save the few villagers he still has, Green also is just a mass exodus from the right wing of Desastres. Teal has Paladin now. He's looking for a good fight to take. I mean, there's not a lot of Paladins here for Yellow. The Arbalists are kind of exposed. If Teal swings some units around, he could totally just mop this right up. And, oh, Red realizing as well, is trying to get sit into a choke point. Teal could surround this and kill this. Again, the fights that Teal has been taking have been really good. It's so difficult to take fights against an Archer Knight combo. It really is. Teal's it's been making it work, but there is, of course, a limit to that, as Yellow now streaming in the reinforcements. Teal's Paladin army is going to go down. You see that the resources for Teal, he's not going to be able to spam more Paladins long term, and yeah. And now Purple and Orange are back, despite Gray, you know. Again, Gray's reboom has been impressive, right? He's actually in this game more so than Blue and Green. Holding the left flank, something that they need, because they need to hold the right flank as well. It's such a heroic defense, man. And you want there to be a happy end, but as I say, you cannot win games by defending. No matter how heroic your defense is, at some point you have to push, and if you cannot push, then you will just lose more and more ground. As for now, basically hold up in Teal's base. You know, they're trying their best here, but yeah, Yellow and Red are just going to push their way right in. And Teal calls the GG. They realize that there is no hope anymore at this point. They tried their best, they fought tooth and nail to do this, but there is no hope. And GG, well played all around. I love the sportsmanship. And Team Secretito, small secret, will be the champion for Category C Virgo Cup 6. And yeah, Desastres will reach place 2. What a series. This was a really good series. Grossos. That doesn't mean fat ones, right? Because I think, no, that's Gordo. Oh yeah, remember. No, never mind. I didn't say anything. What a series. And man, Desastres made Team Secretito fight for it. You know, this was a less imbalanced final than the previous set. Yeah, really well played by both teams, but in the end, you know, Team Secretito just making use of the advantages they had on this map. And just strategy was overall worked out better for them than it did for Blue and Green. Like, you saw what they wanted to do, but the fish didn't really help Blue. That's the irony. That's the irony, and that's exactly, if your opponent goes for fish, that is how you deal with it. That's how you deal, because you always need to think, I'm giving up free eco here, I have to counter. Can't fall behind. That's what yellow and red did, and blue and green were never really able to really do damage to red and yellow's base. Like, they were getting close, but then they took that fight when red just went right up the imp. And I really want to know if red got some sling so he could get up the imp fast, because if they slung red some resources right at that time, that was a brilliant strategical move to recognize we can do a little fast imp here, and that will really help us win that fight, especially because teal and gray already were in defense mode on the left. You know, with orange and purple getting in a very good a feudal age attack on gray as well. The Tars are cursed. Very cursed. Let's have a look at the statistics here as I update the scoreboard. There we go. Now, let's first the economy. I want to see. No slaying. Wow, so it was just a macro ability from red to you know, instead of adding a lot of villagers, we go to Imperial Age first, and that was a brilliant move. Right, going to imp is always a risk. You're always investing 1800 resources in total. That could be army. And you know, they were also losing fights at the same time, like they were being pushed back to red's base, and red still deciding to go imp was a brilliant move. It definitely won them the game on the right side. That was a critical turning point. And look at the army count. Again, shout out to Teal, man. Yeah, the MVP tag here for Teal is deserved. Like, he was taking masterful fights on the left. Like, the KD is actually very good. You know, considering the fact he was mostly up against combo armies, right? You can tell. Look at the KDs for orange and purple. Not very great. Yeah. Brutal saying thank you for casting our games. And you're welcome, man. And also thank you for playing and making it awesome to cast. You know, you can really be proud of yourself, both of the teams. Like, as I always like to say, once it's a final, there really aren't any losers, really. Like, everyone's a winner for making it this far. And that is not to say that, oh, you got a participation trophy for participating. No, you made second. That's awesome. I know it's not the same as first, but it's still awesome. But of course, I know that Team Secretito are going to be very proud of their performance this Virgo Cup. And they should be proud. They should be proud. They deserve to be here. They really do. Looking at the society here, yeah, the booms. Overall, quite equal, but especially it was blue that fell behind after that. Like, he went for some low economy pushes there. And that works, but not if your opponent goes up the imp. And then H1 says, you did an amazing cast. Well, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I try to do my best here, and I'm glad that people have been enjoying my casting. Just know that I have been enjoying watching y'all play in the Virgo Cup. Like, this has been a great experience for me. It really has. And it makes me motivated to continue casting. Like, for example, King of the Desert 4 is coming up, and I am looking to cast that. And we have a subscription here from Tamichi War. Man, you're awesome. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Really do. Does that mean you're gonna hang around some more to watch me babble on about more Age of Empires games? Because I will be continuing to babble about Age of Empires in the future, man. I mean, next week it is a King of the Desert 4, and we're gonna get on with that as well. So the tournaments never end. And thank you for the follow, Brutal. Looking at the timeline here a little bit as well. Yeah, but at the end, I mean, despite the fact they were behind, they held on for such a long time for here. Like, this window right there, the 10 minutes, great defense. Yeah, the critical fight right there. Not much that green and blue could do about it. Oof. GG.